What is up, everybody? Let's see if I can remember to do account reviews today. I think I got it. So I logged in like an hour ago, and I got 4,000 FP for my support list. So that was nice. And we'll put that towards the coup fund here. Hey, Vampa. Alright, so we have 24k and the 2 free summons. Not particularly good odds, but you never know. Music a little loud there. Like that XP though. More Nobukatsu coins. At this rate, I'm not even going to need to buy them from the shop. That's a lie, I'm sure I'll have to. Let's see, I guess I want Billy if I don't get coup. It's like the other than that though, most of the 3 stars I'm fine with where they're at with their coins. So it's not a big deal. I'd say Mori, but you can't get him. Come on, game. I might actually use my summon tickets because I'm greedy. Well, there's another Herbitrot. So she's NP4 now. That's nice. Strangely, no Saber Lilies yet. Hans. Actually, I think I do need those. Have not gotten much of him these last 2 days. Oh my god! Blessed! There we go! Okay, I can grail him, thank god. Man, it's funny how the coin system makes me like want to get 3 stars again. What a time we live in. Feels good though. Coup a day. Now we're gonna need like 2 more coups if we want to grail again. It's pretty much 2 at a time. Okay. Maybe we can save our summon tickets then. 10 million QP. Coup a day keeps archers away, yep. Now, chat, we get to look at the really depressing part. Y'all get to look forward to this on NA. Now, I gotta remind everyone that these are 5-star embers. These are worth, what, 3 times as much as 4-star embers? So this is like 3 pages of 4-star embers, what, you know, people used to use all the time, right? And look at that. Like, look at that. It barely moves. And it costs 100k QP and everything else, like, oh my god. Awful, absolutely awful. Let's see how far we can get. I guess I used the Lancer ones. I've got a huge number in my mailbox though, and also in my second storage. Super success would be really nice. That's just depressing. Like, whose idea was this? You gotta do this 20 times. This is a huge part of why 120s are really rare. And then you need the coins too. Okay, am I gonna use the 4 stars to just clean up inventory space, or do I want to use those on other characters? Okay, hold on. Let us burn some of the filler stuff so I have more inventory space. Because I have so many 5-star embers, I don't know if I even need to use the lower ones. Oh yeah, I should NP rank Herbert Trot so I don't accidentally burn that. In fact, Wu is still alive. Purely because she might get an interlude or a strengthening quest worth a damn. Then after that, right into the furnace. And if I ever need rare prisms, I'll just do it right away. Oh yeah, I can get not Billy. Billy's already 2k foe. I can get Sanson to fully 2k foe now. He's 1,980 and I've got the stuff. I'm gonna save it though for a video. Okay. NP rank. Assassin 564. Is that actually the right number? And what did they ever do? Did they ever give her a placeholder name like, you know, Assassin of Argartha or whatever? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get him to like 102 to get 10k attack for Sanson. What a life. I don't think so? Really? That's crazy. You think they just give him something placeholder? They did? What'd they go with? Oh, this must be set to foe, yeah. You know what? Do I have them on me? I do. Let's at least give her the archer ones. Be merciful here. Just wait, chat. They'll give Sanson an animation update and a buff. And then I'll be sitting there ready. Honestly, the only other character that I really want... I mean, if I could snap my fingers, I would make a lot of characters 120. But the only other character I really see myself actually going 120 on is Billy. Maybe Mori if by some miracle I can somehow get the coins to get his passives and do 120, but I don't see that happening. But yeah, Billy's... probably gonna happen very slowly, and like I mean very slowly, because I mean look at this, it's atrocious. Can't decide if I want to. I guess just for inventory's sake, let's just get through what we got. It's not like I need mana prisms on this account. It kind of feels like throwing it into the void though if you're not using 5-star embers. Yeah, Geronimo is pretty usable. He's a lot better than like Hyde. I always say that. And his animations are okay too. They're not like the best, they could definitely be better, but it would still be nice if we got a buff though. Especially when you have like Babbage and stuff running around, it's kind of like, is this fair? Is that seriously her name now? Are they just making her an OC now? Is she an OC in China? Is that what they're gonna do? I haven't watched the Elden Ring gameplay. I've thought about it, but like I don't want... The thing is, I have faith that the game's going to be good, right? And so I don't want to see like, you know, oh, when you get to this area, you know this is going to happen, or there's a mini boss here, or that, oh, that's what, you know, I kind of want to be surprised by everything. So it is tempting though, because Elden Ring is like the thing I'm the most excited for, but I kind of want to avoid it. I had a friend tell me though who watched it, and he's really into the Souls games and stuff. He told me the drip is really good. Like there's lots of, and that's what I saw from the one trailer I did watch before. The fashion was great. Lots of armor, like, you know, more solid armor, right? That's what I'm about. So Jinkei is called Dagger. Oh boy. So they're just going. They're basically making them OC. That's so silly. So like outside of China, they get to be Chinese, and then inside of China, they're just some guy. Armor means something though in a lot of the games, really. It's really just Demon Souls where armor was useless. Probably meant too much in Dark Souls 1. And in Dark Souls 2, it was okay, it was kind of meaningless in Dark Souls 2, I'll say that, but in 3 it was pretty useful, in 1 it was insanely useful, and then in Demon Souls it was useless. It's not really pet names because they're never going to be referred to as their actual names, and they're not going to acknowledge the fact that they're representing those characters anymore. It seems like the case anyway. Yeah, as far as I know, Qingong was never censored, and it's because I guess he's, you know, more, in their eyes, respectful, right, to the source material. Which is probably true, actually. My issue is more of on principle, though. Like, you know, I don't really like woo and all that, but, you know, I'm not a fan of censoring art and people's opinions and whatnot. But, you know, China, Flame Girl. Chat, look at how much we've done. Like, just page after page after page, and that was one level. And just so much QP and everything else, dude. Whew, all of that for, like, not even 100 attack. Almost 100 attack. And now we gotta do it again. So all that XP they gave out is hopefully enough to get me to 106, but that's probably about it. I'm surprised they changed Lu Bu. I would have figured they'd been okay with that one. But I guess he's kind of brutish and all. You might say like 120k QP is not a big deal, but we're doing it over and over and over and over, so... Yeah, it's possible they missed Chin by mistake, but I don't think so. I think it's because he's more... Because there's other games that they're okay with if they're more, like, you know, respectful in their view. Because he's very not anime when you think about it, but who knows. Candelancer's loyalty. That sounds kind of bad. So what's gonna happen then? Like if they decide to do any more Chinese servants moving forward, are they gonna still be their Chinese selves outside of China? But then in China they're gonna have some, you know, bullshit OC name? I wonder if their bios have been changed any. I bet you they have. That's crazy, man. Young Poppy, oh no. Oh, wow, okay, we still have a lot of these. Chat, imagine if you have the coins to get to 120 all at once, and you've been farming XP, and then you have it in your mailbox like this. I mean, it would take so long to actually level them to 120. I do wonder though if this is going to discourage them from using Chinese stuff. Like the thing is, they can't say no to the money. You know, they want to appeal to the Chinese market because it's so much money, but at the same time, I'm sure they don't want to deal with this. So it'd be interesting to see what they do moving forward. Okay. Have I gotten a single great success? I don't think I have. Unfortunate. Alright, 2.13. Wait, that's not 12.13, excuse me. 12.3, that's probably the better way of putting it. Chat, we're not even halfway. We're not even halfway. We're 106. Like that 106, that's 6 levels out of 20. God damn. And yeah, now we're back to this. So if I get another coup copy, I'll be 5 coins away. If I think getting Bond 15 though gets you 20 coins, so that's another way I could get it. Not that coup is that close, but yeah, 600k to go. Jeez. I still gotta get his second passive, but it's the least important for him, I would say. Rains just rains now. That makes sense. Okay. Got our new free quest over here. Let's see. I'm gonna guess just... I have no idea, but I'm gonna guess it drops the gold mat. Let's see if we can find somebody that's got that slotted. On an event servant, preferably. Good enough. Okay, so we want to bring all bonus servants except for Coup. I have no idea what material they're going to drop, so we're just going to have to guess on that one. I really should get Himiko out of my second storage, because I could just slap her in the back row and she's +1 to everything, but it's Himiko though. We'll just do that. Damn, she's Bond 9. It's because I actually use her for farming. What a ridiculous team I'm looking at right now. But I mean, it's so much bonus drop, right? Maybe I can get a few more coup copies before the Christmas, or during the Christmas lottery, because that's going to be a bunch of XP as well, and I'm going to have to get it out of my inventory. You know what I should have done? I should have taken the XP out of my mailbox that doesn't expire, and I should have taken the big stack last, because those last forever. That was unoptimal of me. I'm over here acting like I need to preserve PFA again. Oh, cool animations, let's go. His extra is pretty cool. Man, Ku's extra attack is going to do so much damage once he's 120. Because his attack up will affect it. He'll have really high stats. And then he'll have the extra attack boost passive. Especially when he's low on health. It's basically going to be an NP when he's low on health for the turns that the attack up is up. Because he'll get roughly 40 or 50% attack up. And then his extra attack always has a 50% damage up because of the passive. And then just his really high stats. That's crazy. If you crit like a buster before that, even better. Yeah, and then it gets berserkers. Yeah, then he hits berserkers harder than he hits archers. So yeah, then he's... Jeez, that's just so many things stacking on top of each other. How much damage will he do at neutral here? Not a whole lot. Probably should have cast his skills there. I should give Coup command codes, because I'm gonna probably use them some during this event just because I want to get the bond. So the way I play this game with the focusing on AP to drop ratio nonsense, like in events like this, when you actually have the Gacha CEs, it gets pretty silly. Like you end up using some of the most atrocious teams ever, but gotta save my apples, man. Kind of bullshit that this is the one GUDA event that Ku's not a bonus servant. That'd make my life a hell of a lot easier right now. Once you know what the stage drops, though, sometimes you can bring bonus servants that give the one drop bonus instead of the universal one, and they can make the farming easier. Save them 1k apples. I mean, if they ever do story replay, I'm gonna need it. Also, I will use some on the lotteries. I make sure to not be too stingy during lotteries. It's worth it for the skill gems. But it's nice having a lot of apples because when we get things like Fluffy, I don't have to worry about my AP. If I want to not ham it up and I want to use low stars or whatever and trial and error, or like, oh hey, let's see what this servant does versus this servant. You know, I can test as much as I want, and that's what I do. When we have bosses, I end up using a crap load of apples, just testing different setups and different units against each other and all that, and you know, messing about, because that's what I enjoy anyway. And you know, who cares about an event, right? So if playing like this lets me have more apples to do the stuff I actually want to, you know, down the line, more than worth it for me. Now that being said, I might take it a little too far sometimes because, I mean, I really do have such a ridiculous amount of apples that it would be difficult for me to get rid of them all. But who knows, they might add some game mode down the road that takes a lot of AP, but it's really fun and I want to do it and stuff, so. Let's see. And we do 130k. In case we can't, I'll do that. New game mode. I mean, it could happen. You know, challenge tower or something. A lot of damage. Did not see overkill though. Barely. Overkilled her by one. So the last hit killed her, and that's why no overkill. Overkilled her by 1,000. Damn it! Yeah, you get him, Ku. Oh man. I wonder if that killed it, guys. This is what I get for not having proper craft essences equipped. Not motivated enough, indeed. I saw Cairo talking about like how people call everything Virgil, and that's true sometimes where like it doesn't fit, but he is blatantly inspired by Virgil, like with the coat and everything. Like there's, I don't think they would even deny it if they were asked about it. Like he so obviously is. And Virgil, no joke, was a really iconic character in big time in Japan and stuff. So a lot of things are inspired by DMC stuff, not just Virgil, but DMC's been a pretty big thing in the industry. But people do absolutely just say anything with a katana is Virgil these days. I'm just so glad DMC5 was good. Like, it wasn't my favorite just because like, the environments were so repetitive and boring. That was a big drop, and I don't like the photorealistic graphics they're trying to gun for. Thought that didn't fit the series at all. But it's still a really good game, and like the combat's amazing, and you know, it's very true to the series and everything. So I was very happy with it, and just having not had a normal DMC game for so long, and a lot of people thinking we never would get one. It was so nice to have like a, you know, back to the roots type game like that. All right, let's see. What do we need to do here? What did this stage even drop? I wasn't paying attention. Drops just the logs and in silver and gold. Well, I don't actually need the logs right now. I need everything but. Let's see. So I need the wheat, and I want to see if there's the one that drops all three. It's not the most generous. The thing is, if you do a stage like this where it drops all three, then you've got to play the way I'm playing and bring all the bonus stuff. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get Himiko out of the garage. Give me a second. Assuming I didn't burn her. Oh wait, that's craft essences, excuse me. Oh wow, my second storage has a lot of Lancer. Oh yeah, there she is. Dude, oh my god. 2 Space Ishtars from when I rolled for Calamity Jane. You know, that's in the second storage too, and then 2 Summer Kiaras. That's a lot of rare prisms just sitting there though. If I ever need rare prisms, I'm ready to go. Yeah, I gotta remember to clean out some of this inventory. Okay. Yeah, bringing Himiko is +1 to every drop, and on a stage that drops everything, that's massive value. And we could show off her animations if someone slaughtered her, but that's not the right CE, and my god, am I not a Himiko fan. Go with this for now. Although I don't really need the materials that much. Although I guess you could turn excess materials into the other event currencies, so. Okay. Right, this is the event one. That is not Himiko. That is Nobu. Am I seriously going to do this stage with this team? Like, this is... Oh, is this better? Probably not, because she's got... You know, I might use Mashu Smashu. Yeah. That's probably the right call here. Why does she... Look at this! Look at this! They really could, like, have a different tier or something next to it so it's easier to... My god, what even... There we go, good enough. Big yikes. Kinda want to bring another bronze boosting one, but I guess this is okay for now. She needs another one. I mean, you know, she'll probably get one eventually. I mean, hell, she'll probably get one in the main story by the end of it. At least they're all bonus servants, so they do more damage. That's how I justify this shamble of a team. Imagine having double Scatty and Edmund and Mordred, Arthur, MLB K-Scope, Waver, Arash, Chingong, Spartacus, you know, all these like really good farming units, and then this is the team that you're using instead. I don't think I actually want to get his NP when I think about it. You know, I hope for their sake that they decide to make 3.0 brand new instead of continuing on from 1.0 and 2.0, because if they continue on from 1.0 and 2.0, it's going to be more MASH, and then they're going to have to make even more costumes. It's going to get totally out of hand. Alright, watch this amazing MASH damage. Just crit. Nope. I really do think 3.0 will be its own thing, unless they just check it out. Because I'm pretty sure the writers and stuff are going to prefer it to be something brand new. I think if they do continue on from 2.0, that's just going to be caving to like what they think is going to make the most money. You know, the safe bet. Because Nasu said he's already written like an outline for either way. Like if it's connected or it's not connected. But he has said in interviews multiple times that it was supposed to end with what they're doing in 2.0. And also 2.0, what it is, was supposed, like the whole overarching story was supposed to be done a long time ago, but you know, they expanded it a lot when the game, you know, blew up. But because they wanted it to end with 2.0, like the MASH main character story, they should just do something completely different for 3.0. I don't think it should have any connection. I don't mind though if like Nash is in 3.0, but she shouldn't be the main character. Like, don't put her in the first two stories. You can have her show up, and now she's older, and so that'd be fine, right? But don't make her the focus again. Yeah, but when Nasu says that, he's blatantly talking about Final for what, like the story is right now. Like, if you look at the wording, he's so specific, where it's like trying to sound like it's the end, but it so obviously isn't. And we already know it's not. Like, they already put out job postings for 3.0 and stuff like that, so unless the game just explodes before they get there, 3.0 is clearly happening. But like, I think Nasu wants, you know, what he's, you know, overseeing, and like with these characters and everything, I think he wants that to be very done in 2.0, and that's fine. I think it's for the best by far. Probably should have focused more on NP gain, but I mean, they'll if they change protagonists, like if 3.0 happens and they change protagonists, it'll probably just be another self-insert. I would definitely expect that. It's easier to write. It's popular in Japan. You know, they're not going to rock the boat or anything. What I wish they would do is like, you have a variety of characters, and the different stories focus on different main characters, and sometimes maybe you revisit the same main character, but that way the settings can be different, their main servant can be different. You know, it gives you a lot of, you know, variety. And you can make them, you know, two-parters and things like that sometimes if you want to really flesh something out. But like, you can have a story that's set, you know, in like the Mage Academy, and you have a certain main character for that, and you've got a, you know, conspiracy or whatever to deal with. And then, you know, you have another story later, and maybe it's set in Egypt, and then you got, you know, this main character is dealing with, you know, if it's a singularity or something, and then you have, being able to mix it up like that, I think would be better, and you can have an overarching story while doing that, and mix up the main characters some, and change the perspectives, and that could give them some fun. You know, you might have a unique mystic code depending on which, you know, character you're playing as in that main story. I think that'd be awesome. I really hope they do something though. I don't want them to be like, oh, more of the same. I think that'd be a waste. Because I mean, I don't give a fuck about the main character in FGO as is right now, because it's just a self-insert. Who cares? He's interchangeable with a fucking hentai protagonist. No one would even notice if you swap them around, right? Like, oh no, like it's zero attachment. I would really hope that they don't like have a instantly world-ending event in 3.0. I think that would be dumb. Alright, they got this. Only took 9 turns. I mean, some of the main characters aren't really self-inserts and whatnot. It depends on the book and such. And then you have like Fate Strange Fate that doesn't really have a main character. This really does not drop much though. This stage is pretty bad. Like, yeah, if you got this many bonuses, I guess it does add up in your favor, but like, look how little that is for the other mats. I need one. I wonder if I have a crap load of these mats, I could turn them in for the mats for the upgrades, but probably don't need to do that in the long run. Yeah, they're 10 for 1. Well, let's see. I think I only need the wheat. Nope. I need 70 of the, I don't know, clay, whatever that is. I guess I at least do this one more time, and then I probably just do the one that drops the clay. Yeah, I mean, really, what I prefer is going to change depending on the story. Like, some stories need a main character. Like, if you're going to make a story about, like, you know, dealing with cancer or something, it makes so much sense for that to have a point of view, you know, one character you follow, right, clearly. But, you know, it just depends. And for a story like Fate, you know, I definitely prefer, you know, Fate Strange Fake, and to a lesser extent Fate Zero, where they don't really have a main character. You know, Fate Strange Fake kinda has a main character. I'm sorry, Fate Zero kinda has a main character with like Saber and Kuretsugu, but they don't get nearly as much screen time as a typical main character. Like, not even close. It's way more shared. Where Fate Strange Fake just straight up doesn't have a main character, and that for stories like Fate, I think that really works like really well. But yeah, it just depends. But I pretty much never like self-inserts. I can't think of a single story where I've liked a self-insert. Even if the story itself is overall good, I don't like the self-insert part of it. Like, they're just boring. It feels like pandering. I don't ever see myself in the shoes of a character. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I've never read a book, watched a movie, played a game, you know, read a manga, any of that. I've never done that and seen myself in the story, ever. I've never done that, and like, my brain just doesn't go that way, right? I always just see myself as observing the story, that, like, always. And some people aren't like that. Some people, you know, very much want to put themselves in the story, or their mind kind of just makes it easier for them to understand it that way. And it's kind of interesting because you can see that a lot in video games. Like, when you have character creation or something, some people basically want to just make themselves and put it in the game, and some people are like, yeah, fuck that, right? Like, it's just different mindsets, right? But yeah, for me, I don't ever want to. I don't even try to see myself in the story. I don't even think about it. So I just see a character. You know, I don't see, you know, something I can project myself onto. I just see a character. And self-inserts, characters that are designed to be self-inserts, are incredibly bland and very unbelievable. Like, they don't seem like a real person, right? And so if you're just observing it, I obviously don't like it because it's bland, it's boring, it's predictable, and it doesn't feel real. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make a good story. Now, there are characters that I will relate to in a story, like, absolutely, right? Like, especially side characters, but I don't see myself as them, right? It's just like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like, or you know, I agree with what they did in that circumstance, or, you know, you can sympathize or have empathy for a character, right? Like, that I absolutely have, but yeah, I don't ever see myself in the story. Let's see. I mean, the MC in FGO has like almost no personality to speak of. Like, people always act like he does or she does, but they don't, right? They, like, I see that in CCC as well. Now, in CCC, I will say I think they have slightly more personality than like what you have in FGO and with a lot of other self-inserts, but it's so unbelievably bare bones. Like, it's still, like, it's a lot of projecting. Yeah, and when you have games that, like, RPGs or whatever, I never actually played Mass Effect, but games like that, what I generally do is I'll play in a way that I find it entertaining to watch, not necessarily what I would do in those situations. Now, sometimes maybe I might do that just because it's, you know, interesting to see how that plays out or whatever. But generally, if I'm playing an RPG, you know, I'll, like, I think, again, a lot of people do that. You know, they might play, like, those old Star Wars games, KOTOR, was the Knights of the Old Republic, and they'll just be a you know, megalomaniac, you know, genocidal psychopath, which they're clearly not that in real life, but they just think it's fun or, you know, entertaining or silly or what have you. Full Renegade? I have no, I know Renegade's like the shit one, but I'd have to see. You know, I never played Mass Effect, so I don't know what the context would be. But sometimes the bad guy choices are just like comical, right? They're like mustache twirling stupid. And what can be really funny is sometimes you have games where, like, you can kind of halfway go good in the conversation and then suddenly be a dick, and that kind of stuff can be funny. And especially because a lot of times the dialogue is like not set up for that, so like the character's talking to you one way and then all of a sudden they're talking to you a different way. That shit can get funny. Look at us not needing the chain there. Hmm. Kind of forgot to use Mash's skills throughout this. Also, wish he would have crit somewhere. That'd have been good. Oh, I haven't been focusing on NP gain again. Well, it's a good thing it's all in this hand. Crit? That's pretty good gain. Why he loops. Sorry, Rama. You're getting power creeped on. Hmm. Let's go Buster up on Nobunaga. You like have to say his full name because his abbreviated name is just Nobu as well, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense to call him Katsu though. I mean, that makes so little sense. Like, you're so obviously avoiding the beginning part of his name, which is the part that you should actually be using, so it doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, Nobu. No, bro. Yeah, that works. Oh man, we got a CE drop or something. Apparently, I will beat a mission if I do this one more time, but probably get that done no matter what. Okay, I think I need like 7 of the play. Oh my god. I need 80 wheat. Why you like this game? And these might unlock more too. We'll see. Oh crap. I should have done that earlier. Crap. I thought those were just upgrades for the ones we already had. So I was like, I'll do them on stream. I was whiffing my AP like all day, and I could have been getting Void Dust, man. Yeah, some of these like upgrade and some of them add new ones, so. These ones take 12 hours though, jeez. Alright, let's see, I need... 7 clay, 60 wheat. Probably do this stage again then. I'm actually doing okay on Void Dust though, so it's not that big of a deal. With me bringing all these bonus drops though, I really could just buy the resources on some days. We'll see. Because I'm gonna have way more than I need. I don't even want most of the stuff in the event shop, so... I probably won't play this event much on my ults, I just can't be bothered. But I should play it a bit on the Sinnoh account to... at least get the Archer skill gems that are available for David. Hey, Raw, is it Raw Kane? Thank you for the 4 months, man. Oh, I should do account reviews after this stage. I will do that. But, clearly self-inserts are popular because they're used so much, at least in Japan. Man, there's like no way to do anything with this hand that I want. There was no damage, no NP gain for anyone that I cared about. Okay, that's better. Oh, music's looping. Good song, though. Nobukatsu does do a lot of damage with that event bonus. I mean, my Steno account is still quite young, and I barely log in, so it's actually doing pretty well when it comes to the David test. We're not even Babylonia. We might actually get 10 from this event, depending. I'm sure somebody's got like a 110 Nobukatsu out there or something, and they're just shredding things. Probably one-shot these mobs. With the Buster card anyway. No, I tried to fucking... Okay, it's fine, I didn't cast the first skill yet. Thought I messed that up. Actually, let's do this. Make sure I get my NP. I lied. Hey, Cairo. Hit Saito. There you go. No, that's not enough. Oh, it's he drained me. What a dick. Now I'm at like 97, so... Well... No gas here. We go slow, boys. Hey, legend. CS, yeah. We're gonna get so much loot here, though. It's just this. I need to get past this stage because you just don't drop enough. So like, I'm not multiplying very many drops at once. Use Nobukatsu's NP. That'll get him. Get that Buster up. Can Mash do 40k? I should have put her 60% crit first because of the way Black Barrel works. Because she's more likely to crit that one, and after the other one it's gone, so... You can see that second one didn't have the Buster up. Thankfully we just crit anyway. Okay. So, I still need the clay and the wheat. It might be better to just farm them separately though. The stage is not that great. So Cairo, I got a coup from FP summon yesterday, and I got another one today. So I could finally grail him again. Let's see where my Hans is at. With coins. Got him a couple of times today. Oh, Blackbeard's got enough. Probably this. I got my 4th Herbertrot today. I'd like to get more Sanson copies actually, get that first passive unlocked. I use him enough to care about that. Deermid can get one, Ricky Boy can get one. Romulus already has one. It's the second one in him is good, with his own battery and that. It's pretty handy for farming and such. Okay, Hans already has one, and then he's halfway to another one. I'm guessing his is anti-alter ego. Probably get his extra attack one. That is so frustrating though. It's weird. So many people get a lot out of the second passive, but Hans really doesn't. He only does if you're not wanting to turn 1 NP with anything other than K-Scope, I guess, because you could regular K-Scope and turn 1 NP. But if you're gonna like get his NP the normal way and then use his second skill for the next NP, then the passive is good. But it doesn't have much effect on like him being able to NP at the start or not with most CE combos. So it's kind of strange. Yeah, it's because he's 75%. So if you have like 20-30 and then you have his passive, you're gonna go to 95. So don't work. But it does let you work like Chen Gong or some other unit like that that has a team-wide battery. Like, it's still good. It's just way less good than most other units. Because like a VC Brawn can now turn 1 NP with Black Grail or something. Do I seriously just do that stage again? Okay, let me go ahead and buy this one. Yeah, you can use his third skill on himself, but then you're probably going to overgauge and things like that. At that point, you probably should just use his second skill. Okay, so that's the upgrade one. Damn it. Oh good, they give you the difference, that's nice. That's smart, that'd be frustrating if they didn't. Yeah, normally you want to use his third skill on teammates. The only time I'd really see you using it on himself is like, okay, you got his passive, and then you've got, you know, whatever CE that's letting you get your NP pretty quickly without using your second skill. Maybe use Chen Gong or whatever. Your K-Scope, you know, anyway, you NP on like turn 2. Maybe turn 1, but probably in turn 2, right? So the heal doesn't whiff and everything. And then on turn 2, before you cast the NP, you do the third skill on yourself. So you NP, then your third skill goes off. Next turn, you use his second skill, and then you instantly NP again. How is this song playing again? What are we doing here? But you know, if you really need to like get a lot of healing for the team, a lot of buffs for the team, that can be good. But normally, it's just better to put it on somebody else because you're gonna have like a DPS that you're wanting to NP with or something like that. Like over all the budget setups I've done, all the videos I've made and teams I've tested off stream and everything, I do occasionally use Hanzo's third skill on himself. Like, it does happen, but way more often you just throw it on the DPS. Honestly, if you have a Grailed Hans, that Amakusa CE is really good on him. Because, especially with his new passive, and if you're okay with using a second skill early, and if Hans is going to live a while and get a lot of NPs off, because there's some fights where you're working with like Mash and Hans in your DPS, and throughout the challenge quest or whatever, you're going to NP with Hans like 8 times, right? Like, that happens. And if you do that and you can not have the starting NP, the Amakusa CE is really, really strong, because it's just much bigger buffs the entire time. The toggle in the corner is for notifications on your phone. Or it basically, it'll just tell you when these are up, your farm stuff. But I find that super annoying, so no thanks. Alright, let's do an account review. If I put it off anymore, I'm going to forget. We will do Silent Blade, because he has the oldest account review sent in, so only fair we get to that. Alright. Context is my main, and I like it. Fair enough. Real context, flex account. Oh god, it's flex account. They're all flex accounts. Started playing over 3 years ago, so this I have high expectations now. As soon as you say 3 years, and it's your main. This is not an alt. This is a main, right? Main account, 3 years. So we have high and it's a flex. You know, so it's not advice. This is a flex. So we have high standards now. So let's see how Silent Blade does. Yeah, it's you, Silent Blade. Okay, around when the Kentucky event was first out in I'm weird because I like leveling servants. Something about grinding hard and being rewarded with big numbers makes my brain go, yes. Also like, so a lot of farming then. I also like using a large variety of units both for farming and challenge quests. Kinda hate how Scatty and Questoria made team building for farming boring. Yep, I've heard a lot of people say that. Because if you like farming, they took all the fun out of it, and it's just the same team forever. If you don't ignore them, I'm not gonna roll for Questoria in protest. I mean, if you've got the spare SQ and you like her, you could always just have her on the side and not use her, right? And then just if you want to use her for testing or, you know, being disgusting every once in a while, you can. Like, I have Merlin, but I don't use him. The starred units are future Grail targets. I want to give them more Grails later on. I'm only planning on taking 1 unit to 120. Some people don't plan on taking anything to 120 because it's such a bitch, but 1 unit's nice, but it really is a pain. Try and guess who that is. Not hard to guess. All relevant NP. I'll keep that in mind as we go through it. I'll wait until I see all those screens, but I'll try to go back over it and pick who I think 120 is going to be. All relevant NP levels edited in. Green filler added when necessary for your enjoyment. What do you mean green filler? What are we talking about here? Let's see. All right, what do we got? Okay, hold on. Let me go to casters. I guess it's just I don't know if it's literally for the color green or if it's just to hide something for security questions. I don't even know. But hey, it's a good shade of green. So that's actually, I think that's Def Rock or Kelly green, which is really close to like my favorite green. So yeah, I think it's Def Rock green, I think. Anyway, yes, I did in fact level 2 TAMs, TAM Supremacy. I used to be that guy. Had NP1 level 100 Castoria Vinch recently. Got 2 more copies from Camelot. The 300 SQ, that's lucky. Alright, so this is in a... Okay, we've got... I'm expecting Waver, but maybe not. No, okay, yeah, Waver down at the bottom. It's Smart Sort. Oh, God. So Waver and Merlin and Tam and Caster Gill. So, and you have a lot of options here. So I'm guessing, I guess we already figured it out. Tam's the 120 because you put, she's 100 and you put Plan to Grail on her. So you kind of let the cat out of the bag on that one. Why did you level a second Tam? Because like, I get it when it's like, if you're a video creator and you grail a DPS and then you want to show that DPS in like a non-grailed state. I get that, but on a support, who cares? Like literally, who cares? The good news is because you get coins retroactively, you're gonna instantly have enough coins for your TAM. So that's good. Like as soon as they do the thing, you're set because that other TAM there is gonna count. Okay, so I just wanted to see. You have Asclepius, so there's your anti-debuff. You get really good skill ranks on the big supports there. Maybe get that Mozart skills to 10 just cause, and Chen Gong. But you probably don't use budget stuff too much. All right, let's back it up here. All right, so I'm surprised if you like farming and everything. I'm surprised your Mordred's kind of scuffed there because she's NP4, so I assume you like her. But then she's 778, right? That's kind of scuffed. I'm surprised she's not at least 10x10. Let's see. So 444 at Attila. So you're not a lot of really. I'm confused. I guess you just like. I guess you just like Gozen more and Mev more, and you've just focused on those because you do have 10-10-10s. They're just. That is strange though, because Gozen, I guess you Mordred just maybe spooks. Is that how this happened? Because at least some of them are spooks. Because I wouldn't expect an NP4 of somebody that you're not planning to 10-10-10, right? Because NP4 is really high. But so you're gonna Grail goes into 100 later because she's 90 now, and then probably gonna Grail Mev. I don't agree with the Mev part, but you know. When do I ever? Let's see. So yeah, everything else is actually kind of scuffed. So there's a lot of scuffed servants in here, but you do have, you know, the ones you really like at 10-10-10. So good enough. Do we pass the David? You don't pass the David test. You got it. You said you liked farming, so you got the opportunity. You've been playing for 3 years, main account, and you don't pass the David test. The good news is though, whenever you have a maxed Merlin, I always say that it's fine for David to be at like rank 6, right? And he does have a Merlin, so technically it's fine. Still though, it's a flex account. It's a flex account, and it's 3 years old, and he knew he was gonna be on this stream, so I'm just saying, you know, I'm not impressed. Lures though, you know, rare prisms. Just 5 rare prisms. There you go. All right, Big Fujino, not Grail, not planning to Grail. I wonder if you went for Void Shiki then, and then she was just a byproduct. But you did bother to 10 her. Very strange things here, because no star, so no plan to Grail. But is NP5 and is 10. I just got super lucky. Yeah, we'll see what the Void Shiki's like here. So you got that Hot Wheels is sad. NP1444. See a lot of biasm towards the waifus here. I'm just calling it like I sees it. Emiya's NP5, that's probably Spooks, and he's just 888. You have a lot of the budget stuff leveled. I mean, you basically leveled every goddamn archer that you have. You just haven't bothered with their skill ranks, and I'm assuming that's from like lottery event farming spam. I wonder how many apples you have. Okay, Arash's 3rd skill's 10, so that's good. So you don't actually plan to Grail any archers. You have no Grails on a single archer, and none of them have your little star thing. So there are no love for the archers, really. Okay, so yeah, there's the other Tam. So that one's 100. Doesn't have the star thing, so I guess that one's not going to 120. Interesting that you pick the support Tam to be the 120 and not the DPS Tam. You know, or the Berserker Tam. Well, I don't know, maybe the Berserker Tam's gonna have the star, we'll see. Okay, so we got NP1 Lantoria, which is a sad state of affairs, and then she's got the 8% battery from her 3rd skill because it's not ranked 10. That's pretty scuffed, I'm not gonna lie. That is cursed as hell right there. I don't think you had Scatty, so you don't have like the Valkyrie Holy Grail there. But I'm sure with Waver and everything else, you don't have a hard time farming with your Lancers. So Tam is grailed, Reshigal is going to be grailed, and I think that's it. So not too many Lancers grailed. Oh no, Scat's grailed, and NP2, so. Terrible skill ranks on Baldy, Ku, not even PFA at 10, man. Like, why even take it to 9 if you're not taking it to 10, right? Because then you never get the cooldown reduction. And if you're going to burn the skill gems to go from 6 to 9, you know, and you don't want that, because it's wasted. 6 to 9 is wasted if you don't get 10, right? So I will, we hope. But I'm just saying, all those mats you spend on them are wasted until you get 10, so. Let's see, Protoku only 444. So yeah, you pretty much level everything, but you only level the skill ranks of the ones you like, that's for the most part. And you definitely favor waifus like 1000%. I don't think has there been any males that are 10 other than supports? Let's see. Okay, Landling. Okay, so we have 1. Yeah, that's it, I think. I think it's just Landling and then Merlin and stuff. We'll see if that trend continues as we continue on here. Okay, Ryder. So even Achilles, not 10. He's just 969. So gonna grill Martha more, grill Mev more. So clearly a Mev fan. Degenerate as we call those. So you're gonna grill Black Bart, so there's some rare hype for a guy, but then still not 10. So right now Landling is the only 10 guy on this account. I'm just gotta point that out. Not even David's 2nd skill at 10, man. Medusa gonna get grailed, but also not 10. I'm shocked that Alex is 999. That's another one where you probably could have just stopped at like 666, right? Because I know what his mats are to get to 999. I'm truly shocked, actually, that anybody, like, 999ing Alexander is awful. It is an awful experience, and nobody wants to do it. But what I don't think I've ever seen this, because Alex's are always either 10, because they actually, like, really like Alex, and they want to, you know, go all the way. Or he's just, like, 666 or 444, because they're like, fuck the hero proofs. Right? Because again, if you go to 999, you've already spent the painful part, right? You've already used all those hero proofs, but then you didn't get the reward for, you know, getting the lower cooldown and all that stuff. All right, what do we got here, though? We got Maximum Da Vinci, NP5, all that stuff. What NP rank is Mev? It's not, is it listed? Like, no, I don't see it, so I'm not sure what Mev is there. Mega saved for Mini Vinci was fortunately rewarded. Yeah, I mean, NP5, it works out pretty well. So, your Martha's gonna do you well. You're gonna murder Demeter. Like, between, like, Martha and Nev, and then you have all the budget options if you need them, like Alex and Ushi. So you're in Achilles even, Kentucky, right? Kentucky almost 10 male there. He's, 10, 10, 9, so he's very close. But yeah, you're gonna have no problems with being with her at all. Mev is in P1. Yeah, I kind of figured if it wasn't listed, then it was in P1. But some of them had the 1, so I wasn't sure. Okay, so DPS caster options, you've got Nero, which is basically like the best one in the game, and she's in P3. And then you got Ilya, who is the other like best one in the game, but because she's in P1 and Nero's in P3, I'd say Nero is probably better. That'd be my guess. I'd imagine you've probably had more success with Nero, but I don't know. Maybe you use. I'm sure they both work, so whichever one you use more. Let's see. So any surprising 10-10-10s in here? Not really. Lisa Asclepius is on the way. Well, the good news is you've got good options for like everything hard that's coming down the line. Although you don't actually have a standout DPS for Fluffy yet. You've got Hot Wheels, but he's super scuffed. I guess Masashi's fine. You could definitely use Masashi as your main DPS there. But you don't have any of the like, well, Scath. Scath's pretty good. Yeah, you got some okay options for it, but you don't have like any of those ones that like super stand out. Like, oh yeah, that makes Fluffy really easy. Okay, you got Asclepius, you got Hohenheim, almost 10-10-10 on that one actually. Guessing that's for farming stuff. Makes sense if you don't want to get Castoria that you'd want Hohenheim to be upgraded actually. Do you have, did you have Nero Bride? Oh, there's Wojcicki, right. So, you got NP1 Wojcicki and NP5 Fujino. That's some RNG right there. But, no Nero of any kind here for Saber. You don't have either of them. But, you do have the caster one. I'm guessing you just rolled on summer stuff. Okay, so you got Super Kama, I think NP1. Assassins are my least favorite. Rarely use anything but Kama just to get through any nasty rider bosses. Just gotta wait 2 years for bench on my NA. You know, it's interesting though. What I would have guessed was your least favorite class would have been Archer, but I guess you don't, because Archer had no potential Grail targets. Where you have a potential Grail target there on Assassin, right, with Scath, but. Kama is your only 10-10-10 out of all of your assassins. Where, what was Archer here? Archer, you've got more 10-10-10s, but no Grails. None of them are Grailed, and none of them are aimed to be Grailed, so... Yeah, I would have guessed Archer, but I guess the skill ranks are more scuffed here. I burned Nero. So what made you keep Caster Nero, but then burn the other ones? Was it just because she's good, or what? Let's see, so you got NP5 Jet Kita, scuffed skill ranks, but that's, yeah, all of these are scuffed skill ranks though, except for Kama. That's pretty rough. She's too good, yeah, she is pretty busted. Okay, so of course Tam, Cat, is Grailed in NP5 and 10-10-10. I would have been disappointed if she wasn't, considering all the other Tams here. You got Big Raiko, so you don't have a GUDAGUDA, but Raiko is a perfectly good stand-in. I'm guessing you rolled a bit for GUDAGUDA though, because you had Hot Wheels and Asclepius, but maybe you were just going for Asclepius and Hot Wheels was just a bonus. Man, that's kind of messed up because, what did you have? You have NP2 Asclepius, and you have Hot Wheels. I rolled on his original banner until I got him NP5, and I didn't get a Hot Wheels or GUDAGUDA, right? I didn't get either of them. This man stole my Zhang Yu, exactly like mine, NP1464. Let's see, any Berserkers that are, okay, so it's just Raiko and Tamcat that are 10-10-10, nothing else is. You got Summer Masashi though that's close, and you got 999 Paul, 9910 Berserker Lancelot, but you didn't have Scatty, did you? I'm surprised you did that. Yeah, you don't have Scatty. I mean, I guess you can still make them work with, you know, Waiver and so on and so forth, but, oh, so you got Fluffy Boy. I think you've leveled every single servant that you have, which I'm guessing is why you burned Nero. Oh, he does have Scatty. It's next to Leonardo there. Okay, that makes more sense then. Also 10-10-10, and also Grailed, which would explain why you Grailed regular Scath, and you were planning on Grailing Assassin Scath, so that explains a few things. So sad on these Berserker skill ranks though, man. That's a lot of 4-4-4. But yeah, you've leveled like every servant that you have, there's just not their skill ranks. You do have the one things that aren't leveled here is Bin K, but I'm pretty sure that's an esports Bin K because it's actually practical to have an esports Bin K. And then you've got a leveled Leonidas and a non-leveled Leonidas. You do not, though, you do not have a 65 Bin K, if I'm not mistaken here. So Bin K is like the one servant I'm seeing here that's not leveled. Like the 25 one's not getting leveled. It's not supposed to be, right? It's esports. But I'm assuming the 35 one is going to be 65 at some point. Let me see if there's anyone else that's not leveled up here. So you got level 1 George, but again, that's just for George things. You've got a 65 one. You got level 1 Chen Gong, and you have a 65 one. That's all the normal stuff. Yeah, I think Bin K is your only non-level Saber Gilius. Let's see. He doesn't even have, oh no, that's Archer. There he is. He's level 50, so that one's not leveled. So we got Saber Gilius and Bin K. Anything else? Doesn't look like. Let me see Assassin, because you said you didn't like Assassin. No, okay. Oh no. Now this means war. Oh no. This means war. That when you have this many servants leveled up, right? When you have just, I mean, look at all these leveled up servants, right? And then so only a few are being like targeted to not be leveled, and it's Sanson and Jekyll and Hyde. This means war right here, right? This is and then what's going on with Charlotte? Why is Charlotte level 50, but then she's 888? Like, just max a Cinder, right? You can literally just make her 60. And like, what the fuck? Who the hell goes 888 and is like, yeah, but I'm not leveling them? Who does that? Like, if you didn't have the bones, then why did you make her 888? Like, what the hell? She is now? Okay, there's an old picture. Jesus Christ. All right, let's see. What about Monmotahari's up? So yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, Sanson, and Phantom not getting leveled, man. Big oof. I like how you 4-4'd Jekyll and Hyde. So like these had to be the absolute bottom of the barrel, because I imagine in lottery events you just go down the list, right? And you just try to level everything. And the fact that Sanson's going to be one of your last level things, so much tisk, man. Gotta give you the stink eye here. Banned. Oh, and Caligula. Caligula's not leveled. See, now Cap'n has to ban you. Oh, yeah, extra class. Any? Okay, you got Angra. Got Angra up. Oh, not Antonio. Not Antonio. Who doesn't level Antonio? They leveled all this shit, but not that one. Level Jin K before you leveled Antonio. Big oof. All right, what do we got here though? We got pretty much every extra class available here. Yep, Melt maxed out in P3. So I bet you used Melt to kill Riders a lot, because you said you didn't like Assassins. So I figure Melt is a good stand-in there. And if she's in P3, 10-10-10, I assume you like Melt just fine. You got Super Big Martha, and you're planning on grailing her to 100 in the future. Got 10-10 Mash, that's good. Got Rulers, Avengers, everything. The skill ranks are still kind of scuffed here, but at least the ones you really like you've got up. Alright, 100 MLB K-Scope. I never cared to level 100 my K-Super Scope, because it's just a tax stat, and it's like the way I've never had a time like, oh, I can't farm this stage because I need like 200 more attack. That's never happened. But you got Golden Sumo, so you got that one right, and that one's 100. And then you got, that's an odd one to take to 100, the Miyu one. It's a very good CE, but because it's support oriented, I'm surprised that one's 100. You must just like using that on somebody. Oh, Tam. You use it on Tam, don't you? That's why. And you gotta have, because Tam's your favorite, you gotta have Tam's options be maximum, if you will. That's totally what's going on there, though. You got a maximum Black Grail, though. That's good. That's good for Fluffy and such. Let's see. You got Paul's Bond CE. That thing is cursed. 100 Aerial Drive. Kind of surprised you did that one when you got 100 Golden Sumo, but why not? 100 Prism Cosmos, man. You don't see that. I don't think I've ever seen that at 100 before. And I guess that's for Tam too. I can't, like, Jesus. I guess another good one for Tam would be formal crafts, and I see that you're leveling it. I have a feeling that one's like next on the chopping block or something, because that's a good TAM one. So you got a Sakura scope, regular K scope, Drunken Jolter, that kind of stuff. Do we have an Art of Death? Yes, you have an Art of Death. Not leveled up very much though. You know, no, unironically, I really would level that more, just because even with all these super strong units you got, it's a good CE, so it's not bad. Unless you're going for a Yang CE, then fuck it. Yeah, I had a feeling you weren't gonna have a lot of apples because I suspected you went ham on Gilfest. You got 5. You got 5. 366 on the bronze though. That's actually a lot. But yeah, I had a feeling you were going really ham on Gilfest. See, what level is your account? I'm trying to see. I can't. Maybe 140. I can't even remember what the cap is on an A. But I assume you farmed plenty, so like over the years you probably 150. Is that the cap? I'd imagine that's the cap. Whatever the cap is, I assume you're at. Okay, well, what's your best DPS for Fluffy? That's you got the supports. You got Merlin, Asclepius. Those make the fight so much easier. But what's your best DPS here? We got Masashi's an option. Hot Wheels would be an option, but I don't think you're gonna level that. Scath is an option. You could kind of do Ilya if you wanted to, but she's MP1, so I don't think you would do that. Kama's an option. Kama's absolutely an option. She's MP1 though, and so I doubt that would be one you'd want to do. Is Tamcat an option? Not really. Tamcat would be pretty terrible there. Melt's probably an option. Oh, I have XX. Let's see where. Oh yeah, you do. Well, she's not ready at all yet, but yeah, that even with those other Grailed units, XX is probably the best. If you took her to 10-10-10, because she's in P2, that's enough. An 80 in P2, 10-10-10, XX would definitely do the job, especially when you're working with the OP supports that you have. So you got Fluffy in the bag already. And you got big Nobu there. And you got plenty of buff removal for Venge, the Venge fight. You got multiple monstrous servants like Lobo and Gorgon that can, and Tam. Tam can just solo the Venge fight, so I figure you'll just do that. You can solo it with literally, I think every Tam can solo it. Maybe not Lancer Tam, but I know Berserker Tam can very easily. I know Caster Tam can, it just takes forever. But I'm not sure about Lancer Tam. Alright, well, I think that's everything. I'm obviously guessing though the 120 is going to be regular vanilla Tam. Alright, well that was Silent Blade. The little disappointed at the lack of David's second skill, and then Sanson apparently being one of your least favorite, servants in the entire game. So I got to give you the stink eye for that one. Yeah, we'll do, was it Sentai? Senti? We'll do your account in a second. We'll do that next. Alright, let's do a little bit of farming though. I'm about to whiff AP over here and we can't have that. I'm wondering if it's more efficient to just do that stage. They don't really have a good stage for Clay yet, so it probably is still better to do this one right now. This is my least favorite stage to farm right now because I do the whole maximum, bonus thing. This is like the worst stage for that. Like you end up using Nobukatsu as a fucking DPS and you're not countering with Saito, and Ku's bad because it's sabers, and like it's not good. Oh man, 599 chat. We're so close, right? One day Sanson will get an animation update. The ones, I'm not kidding. The units that I've been like just sitting here waiting for, and I'm like so looking forward to for animation updates, and they just never happen, right? It's Sanson, Jekyll and Hyde, Darius, Billy, right? Like those are like the units that have been like top of my list that I've wanted animation updates for, and none of them have ever gotten one. Let's see, what else is really high on my list for wanting animation updates? So Jekyll and Hyde, Sanson, Billy, Darius, those are absolutely my top. I want an animation update for David, but not. I like David, but not nearly as much as those other ones I just listed. Like, you know, Billy and Sanson are super high on my list. Yeah, Tesla is super high on my list. Yeah, Shakespeare and Mozart are both up there, but again, they're no Billy or Sanson, right? Yeah, Leonidas is way up there though. He's way up there. Let's see. Here, let me beat this stage, and then we'll look through the servants I have, and we'll kind of just talk about animation updates and all that good stuff. All right, well, art chain time. Babbage's animations aren't that bad in my opinion. Like his character model is completely fine. It's completely accurate to his character. So, although I wouldn't complain about a Babbage animation update, I don't care about that half as much as Billy and such. 10 health? Well, that didn't work out. Oh, yeah, screen is, it's because it's still for the account review. But see, I was smart in advance because I knew I might make that mistake, and so I had moved Samsung Dex. So if what just happened, it would be like still a decent screen, right? Like if I had it by default, you'd see like blue at the bottom and everything. So I thought that far ahead. There really are trash mobs that have better animations than a lot of the servants right now. Like the shark has better animations than day one servants. And then you got like some of the Mechanobus are better, the Bloodborne guys are better, those Greek guys are better. I think he can kill this thing. By buff, definitely. He won't kill it with this combo. If I had buffed and done Buster Art Buster, I think he would have killed. Oh, just crit! Just triple crit! Alright then. I unironically think they should give animation updates to mobs because it's super easy to do because most mobs only have like 5 animations to begin with. And then like some of those 5 are very simplistic, like their skill animations and stuff, and that's fine. But for some of the like really popular enemies that you fight a lot or can be used as like bosses or like, you know, filler bosses and stuff like dragons and spriggans, you might as well make them look better, right? Like, and this is something people overlook a lot, but enemies in a video game are extremely important because they're the other half of the game. They're what you're like, they're what you're interacting with. Like in Ninja Gaiden, what's important is the characters, combos, and animations, and weapons and stuff. But then the next most important thing is that thing that he's interacting with, all of the enemies, right? So you don't want them to look like garbage and sound like garbage or have bad movesets and stuff. Like, enemies are super important, but it's very common for developers to kind of just phone them in and like, no one cares about those. And sure, you don't have to flush them out as much as like the playable characters, clearly not. But because they are the main thing you're interacting with, I think putting a little bit of effort into them is wise. Especially bosses, right? They use giant dragons as bosses all the time for interludes and whatnot. And you want interludes to be epic and fun and cool and stuff, or unique. And so if you're going to just fight a generic giant dragon, you want it to look better. Like, absolutely. I'd love it if they added the centaur that whooped, I guess Cainios, not Canis in that case, but, that would be cool if they added him. They did reference him. I was truly surprised that they referenced him actually, because that's a Canis and Cainios are not particularly famous, Greek legends, right? Yeah, now they are mentioned in passing in some very famous Greek stories, but yeah, they're really not that popular. So the fact that they even had like that kind of deep dive with the centaur and everything, I was pretty surprised by that. That was cool though. I was quite happy with that. And maybe they would do a Cainios, however you say it, a CE, but I doubt it. I don't think we're ever gonna see him ever. That ain't gonna fucking happen. Like if it was the other way around, like if Cainios was playable, like, oh yeah, they're gonna add Canis. Like, sure. I didn't say it. I did not say it. I didn't. Wait, did I say it? I don't know if did I say it or not. I know I said Cainios CE, but that's different. Excuse me. How is he always here? Close enough? That's nonsense. How is he always here? I did not even think about that. I did not. What the fuck? I feel like Otto set me up. He set me up. I've been framed. Anyways, if Canis was in the game and Canis wasn't, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna come up with a reason to add Canis into the game at some point, right? But yeah, no, they're not. They're not doing that. Dude, it's been so long since that happened. It's been a while. I will say the whole Canios thing, you know, sometimes when the, you know, gender bend and whatnot, it annoys me, but that one doesn't really annoy me because it's a pretty reasonable excuse for once in their life. But I still think it would be cool to have both because that's kind of the point of the story, but it's not nearly as bad as what they generally do. This is absolutely not the best farming node in this event. The best farming nodes aren't available yet, though. And that's how it always is. I have to stress this all of the time. I can't, I'm not sure if there's, I guess Moonfest is an exception, but fuck Moonfest. Like, toxic streamer, 100%, just fuck Moonfest, stupid event. But for basically every event that has ever existed, the meta node to farm is not in like the first 2 or 3 days ever. Like the first 2 or 3 days, the nodes are dog shit. And if you're wanting to be efficient, don't defend Moonfest. Does chat just always take the opposite stance that I do? Who the fuck defends Moonfest? Half of you all didn't even play it. Anyway, so yeah, it's best to not use apples generally for like the first few days of an event, and then once there's better nodes, if you're going to use apples, use them on those, because you get so much less boom for your AP, right, for those early stages. Dude, Moonfest was terrible. I mean, actually, it wasn't that terrible in terms of just, you could autopilot, turn your brain off, get the loot from the shop really easy. You know, it did not demand any effort on your part, so if you don't like the event, you could kind of snooze through it nice and smooth like that. But it was such a simplistic event, and then the best stage was the 5 AP one, which that's never happened again. I repressed Moonfest, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I remember just like kind of, you know, mashing it. Like I think I was at, back then that was when I worked for that parking company. And that was in the early days of working for that parking company, I think. My God, actually maybe not. Dude, I worked there for 10 years. So let's see. The early days of me working there were actually probably before FGO NA even existed. How old is FGO NA? Is it like 4 years? So Moonfest would have been about 4 years ago. So that really wasn't actually my early days at working there then. So I don't know if I played that at work or not. I don't know, but there were some days where like nothing was going on, and they didn't care if I mean, hell, we could bring laptops and shit, and it was pretty funny. But anyway, I might have played it at work. I don't remember now. I'm too old, but I do remember just autopiloting it and kind of just getting through it without even taking note of it. Yeah, it is like the first proper event. Like it wasn't just like a banner or anything like that. It was the first like event story and that kind of stuff. It didn't even have an event map. It was just like listed in the free quest section. Yeah, I think it was before OG Neurofest. Let me look. I can check. I think it was. I know OG Neurofest was very early on, but I think Moonfest was first. The original Neurofest didn't even have challenge quests. Okay, let's see. Yeah, early on, you just had like start dash and Oh my god, they did that court summoning event. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, the early FGO was so scummy. Holy shit, yeah, they didn't even do some of these on NA because they were so, bad. No, okay, Nerofest is first. Yeah, Nerofest is first. Nerofest was, September 16th to September 25th, and then Moonfest was September 25th, so it's October 2nd. Although, Nerofest was barely a proper event, the original version of it. It only had 2 story nodes, like, it one at the start and one at the end. There was no, you know, like, story to speak of, really. It was kind of just an introduction and a goodbye. And then it was just glorified dailies, and that was it. And they were just harder glorified dailies for, like, at the time. Like, by today's standards, they're complete joke-free quests. But for that early in the game, they were actually kind of hard. I think the Moon event, though, was the first event that had, like, an actual main story and whatnot. Oh, they both had event shops, though, so I guess Nerofest does count. Holy crap, September 9th, they did a Fate Stay Night campaign. They rated up Artoria. That probably made bank. I mean, probably not that much bank because the player base was so small. Back then, I mean, holy shit, the player base was so small. That game did not blow up for a long time. But for what player base was there, I bet you that Fate Stay Night banner did well because Artoria was rated up. And then you had, obviously, Emiya and Hercules and all the 3-star Fate Stay Night people. So, holy crap, dude. I'm looking at some of these early events. Dude, they had the AP consumption down for like free quests, and then they had like a bonus XP. But like back then, the only XP you got was like the bronze XP from free quests. So like the picture they're using for like the bonus is bronze XP instead of the gold ones. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then they had those old daily quests that like were so bad. Like they were so unspeakably bad. Oh, Lord. Yeah, NA skipped a lot of that bullshit. Alright, let's punch some mobs in the face here. Yeah, seriously, you had to level up through bronze XP in the early days of FGO, and that's why when Oceanus came out, the mobs are like scaled for, you know, level 40, 50 units, because if you weren't like wailing hard, you were not gonna have there's no way you were not gonna have a full roster of leveled up units, because basically what they wanted back then is they wanted the free quests to be actually kind of hard, and they wanted you to have to work, and most of your servants would be lower level, and it would take so long to get the ascension mats that you needed. You would get like those penny bronze CEs, you know, or XP, the bronze XP while you were getting the mats you needed, and you would just level up a little bit over time with those. Like leveling was super slow at the beginning. Yeah, I never played when the support list was like that, but I've been told about that. Your friend support used to only be... they didn't even have a slot. It was what was in their leader slot. And we don't even have the leader slot anymore. But like where MASH is on the team right now, that's the leader slot. Or it used to be anyway. And whatever unit was there was the unit that friends could summon. And that was it. Like that was it. That was all the friend system was. Thankfully, NA never had to go through that period. And then the health bars were really silly. And see, like when you fought a Chimera, in a free quest in Septum, that used to actually be content, right? And it was really impressive if you one-shot him and stuff, right? Because everyone's servants were like, you know, just dog shit. I mean, just so weak. So that's why they had like the big health bars for them and stuff early on, because that was supposed to be like worth a damn. And then your AP regenerated slower. Summoning cost more SQ. You didn't have daily login rewards. You didn't have the weekly missions giving you the fragments. You didn't have those. Those weren't added for a while on JP, actually. You couldn't go past Bond 5. Bond 10 didn't even exist. This actually took them a while to change. So Bond 10 used to not exist, and what they didn't just snap their fingers and all of a sudden Bond 10 was in the game. What they would do was, oh God, this is depressing to think about. So you know how right now we're always talking about how they won't just buff something that needs to be buffed. They have to wait until they can make it content. You know, it's like, oh, they gotta wait until it's an interlude batch or the anniversary strengthening batch or they're thematic with the event, right? They gotta milk it for content, right? And there's other things they do that with now. But back then, they still had that mindset, but what they did it with, like one of the things they did it with was Bond 10. Like every so often, they would come out with like, you know, a little banner with a few servants on it, and it's like, oh, these servants can get Bond 10 now. Go grind! Aren't you excited, guys? And that was like content back then. And they only did a few at a time. They do like between 3 and 4 or so at a time. And there would be a pretty good, like I remember for ages, some of the characters I liked, I couldn't get Bond 10 with. Like when I started, Protoku couldn't get Bond 10. He was just stuck at Bond 5. Yeah, you had to wait. And yeah, they didn't even start letting you go past Bond 5 until America. And only a handful got it. Like only a handful got it when they did that. And it was slow. Like it took them a long time to stop that system. I didn't even really, when did these stop? I don't know, they might have just stopped when all the old servants, because I think what happened at some point is they started adding new servants just with Bond 10, because I think they realized it was stupid and everyone hated it. And also I think they realized the rate that they were adding new characters was faster than the rate that they were unlocking Bond 5. So I think they realized how dumb it was and they just started releasing new servants at Bond 10. And then once the original characters, they kind of just got done, you know, going back and making their Bond CEs and stuff, they just, you know, abandoned the system entirely. FGO classic win. I would never play that. The only thing that would be funny, actually, I probably would play it some just to show it off and like talk about it, right? Because it is kind of entertaining. But I would not play it in any serious capacity. You know, I'd beat like Oceanus so then like never touch it again. But yeah, seeing how it was, which kind of show people why people actually, that's why the Kojiro meme happened, because most people didn't have ways of getting assassins, and everyone was like level 20, and you're fighting those, you know, wyverns every other stage in Orleans, so Kojiro was the bailout button. Because you had to at least counterclass them, right, back then. Where now you can just, like, who cares? I actually killed my playlist. I meant to kill... So I had Cairo's stream up, and then Cairo raided me, so I had my stream up. So I was going to close that, but I accidentally killed the sound, the music. Back to the title screen. Fair enough, okay. The Savior of France. Kind of sad that meme is not really understood anymore, because this game is so different now. Okay, I think I just need clay now. Holy crap! Oh my god, there's another thing. And I played during this period. The amount of XP. Oh boy, is Lost, are you here? I think he might know what I'm talking about. The amount of XP that you could give to a unit and a craft essence at a time. I think it used to be 5. And again, it's because you used to not be able to get a bunch of gold embers. You really only got them from events. You know, leveling was just so slow in the early parts of the game. They wanted it to be slow. They wanted it to really slow. And so you didn't really even have the need of like having 20 XP at a time, because you were just, you know, feeding them a couple of, you know, shitty bronze XPs every once in a while. But if you did stock up or get stuff from an event and you wanted to use them all at once, it would take forever. I mean, I remember it used to take so long to level craft essences because of that. Holy crap. Yeah, I remember when they changed that, and they've actually changed it twice. They've actually buffed the amount you could do twice, because then I think they took it to like 10 and then 20. But yeah, I don't think they went straight to 20 off memory. Oh, bad times, bad times. Yeah, NA was so much less of a shit show. And hey, Tara, as you say, Tara, thank you for the Twitch Prime, dude. But NA had like its own unique problems with like you know, the old game just wasn't designed for like the changes NA had, so it was too easy and it was kind of boring because of that, because you could level so much faster and you had the dailies and the login rewards and the weekly missions and the proper FP summon and support slots and all that kind of nonsense. Because like back in the day, you would always summon the story support. It was either that or a friends level like 15 mash, right? That was your two options. So it made the story harder. The thing is, the market was really different back then. You gotta understand, when FGO came out, mobile games were nothing but scumbags. I mean, there really were no good mobile games. I think one of the only good mobile games was this, I can't remember what it was called, but it was more like a single player game. It was called something Blade or something. It was kind of like a third person slashy thing. It was like, you know, third person action game. And that was like the only good mobile game back then. Everything was scummy. And not only was everything scummy back then, but everything was just like bad. Like the other Gacha games at the time were Infinity Blade. I think that was it. That sounds right. That was like known as like the only good mobile game, right? But like most of the Gacha games back then were like idle management games. You know, they didn't really have combat and stuff. You know, it really was like a JPEG collector, and you just like manage sliders and, you know, that kind of thing. And it didn't. You know, it was just a trap to get people to spend money on pictures of waifus. That was it, right? That was it. And then I think maybe, when did Grand Blue Fantasy come out? Because I know it was around the time as FGO. Because like right around the time of FGO, the game started getting better, but they were still pretty bad, and there was only a few good games. And then FGO was just like it was just your typical schlock, right? And that's what it was supposed to be, right? It's kind of sad. I think a lot of this stuff has been kind of lost to time because it was so many years ago. But if you look at the really early interviews with Aniplex, Type Moon, DW and stuff, like, I mean, Type Moon was like trying to distance itself from FGO, right? And they like, in some of the things Nasu would say in interviews was like he didn't want, you know, Type Moon fans to feel like they had to play it. He had gone on record, you know, prior not really liking mobile games and finding them scummy and stuff. And so like, I think their editor was pretty heavily involved in FGO, but I don't think Nasu was. And from a PR standpoint, Type Moon was really trying to distance themselves from it at the time. Now they don't now, but back then they did big time. And like, you know, DW was saying how they were such an inexperienced company and all these things. You know, it was just supposed to be some stupid side mobile game. And they made other Fate mobile games, by the way, back then that were just quick throwaway cash grabs. Like there was a few of them. They don't exist anymore, I don't think. But and FGO was just supposed to be another one. It was like Nasu wasn't sitting there writing pages and pages of stuff. It was just supposed to be this really brief, easy mode, herp-a-derp story, right? And it was supposed to only last like 2 years. The whole game was only supposed to last like 2 years, and that was it. But then it just blew up, and it didn't blow up at first. You know, it was pretty crappy at first. But the thing is, they had no standards back then because the mobile industry had no standards back then. So Aniplex and DW were just kind of doing what all the other mobile games did, which was being a complete scummy piece of shit. That's just what you did, right? You just tried to trick people into like in old FGO, your AP cap was lower, it regenerated slower, and you had no way of getting SQ outside of the main story. And so they were trying to get people to like need to buy SQ to regenerate their AP to like farm and play the game and stuff. That's what they wanted back then, right? Like that's you know, old mobile games, and SQ was more expensive back then and all that nonsense. But yeah, it had a terrible reputation. I remember when FGO first came out, the Fate community was like, yeah, it's just typical, you know, mobile shit, and you know, it's awful. It was really unpopular for a long time. But as of America, it started getting more popular, and they started legitimately making the game a lot better and removing a lot of the stupid crap. And then Camelot, it got way more popular. They just got bigger and bigger from there. Pretty much Camelot and on is when it really started to blow up. But here's what's crazy. Here's what's crazy. Since then, you know, the game has blown up, and they've made buckets and buckets of money. And Type Moon is way more involved, and all these other things. And yet, when someone new is like, oh yeah, I'll try out that Fate Grand Order game, their first, like, you know, 5 stories they have to go through, or when the game would still have that mindset of being a money grubby piece of shit, they're still the same stories, right? Like Fuyuki, Orleans, Septum, you know, Oshi, all those old stories are terrible, and they still because there wasn't a lot of content back then. Here's the thing: there's filler, right? Lots of filler in the old stories, and even in some of the new ones. But the reason that filler is there is because when that content is current content, they're trying to drag it out so it lasts longer, right? To buy the developer time to make more content. But retroactively, once you go back and look at it and it's not current content anymore, you know, it's just a complete waste of space. And so the old content is just a slugfest. It's super slow, it's boring, the story's bad, the writing's bad. I mean, the writing's really bad and just brief. And they've never gone back and fixed it, right? So even though the game's way more successful now, they put a lot more effort into it now, they put way more effort into the writing and all that stuff, that's not what people see when they pick up the game and start playing it. You know, they see Fuyuki and Orleans and Septum. That's what they see, right? And if they muscle through that, then they just see Oceanus and London. I mean, that's not that much better at all. It's still crap. Right, so most people just give up, you know, before they get through all that dog shit. It's crazy that they have not gone back and been like, oh yeah, remember when FGO was just like the worst game ever, and that's still what our like the first half of our game is like? Yeah, we might want to do something about that, but they never have. Let's see what this is. Lost. You lost. I was just talking about how you had to feed XP. Yeah, this if you're France, there we go. That's a classic. But I was talking about when XP, you can only feed 5 XP at a time to CEs. And units. Honestly, Fuyuki is better content than Septum. Like, definitely. Took me 3 SQ to beat Salter. I hope that's not true. Did that happen to anybody? Like, it's on JP, it's a little bit more understandable because you're probably like level 2, but oh boy. All right, so animation updates. Speaking of which, that old FGO that we were talking about, yeah, that's where this comes from. This character sprite that was in there, and it's still in there. All right, so Ku has had an animation update, but it was one of the very early animation updates in the game. So it would really be nice if he got another one. Like, I don't say that of a lot of characters. Most characters that get an animation update don't need another one, but the really early ones, they could use another one. So I do hope Ku gets another one, but I don't want it as much as like Sanson and stuff. Because if you look at this character model, it's okay, right? This is significantly better than a day 1 character model. Significantly, right? So it's okay. Yeah, his attack animations are not only are they boring, but they don't even fit how Ku is said to fight, like in the visual novels and everything. And he's supposed to be very swift and rapid strikes, and you're very cutthroat. You know, that they don't really capture that in the slightest. So obviously, I want him to get an animation update, but there's just no. Even though he's my favorite character, there's no world that's on the same level as this, right? I mean, this is just like send help, right? This clearly needs to be updated. Took me 2 to beat Raiko and Shootin'. Shimosa, I hated that fight. Oh, you mean SQ? I would, man, just use command spells, man. SQ, you gotta save that stuff. Also 100 face. That's how you beat that fight. Just go to 100 face. Let's see here. So yeah, Sanson's top of my list. Billy's pretty damn high. He does have a better model than day 1, but it still could be a lot better. And I'm scared about Billy though. The potential's awesome. I just want like awesome gunshot sound effects and just, you know, cool gun stuff. I'm worried they're gonna try to make it fancy and do like gun fu, and I don't want that at all. But if Billy's is good, it's like the one I'm looking forward to the most potentially, like that and Sanson. And it might be soon. I think Saber Wars 3 might be soon, so I think he has got a chance at getting it. Let's see, what's another one of my favorite servants? So yeah, Tesla. Tesla's really high on my list. And yeah, not particularly. The lightning's cool, but terrible character model. You got the big head syndrome, all that stuff. His attack animations are barely better than day 1. So Robin Hood is one that I really like, but he does have an animation update. It is a very old one, but I think it's held up way better than Ku's. Now his came after Ku's, so I guess they were a little bit better at making them at that point. But I don't really think he needs another one. I think his is held up just fine. His character model looks totally normal and fine. You know, it's not quite as detailed and stuff as the current ones, but it's good enough. And his attack animations fit him and are fine. I don't see any. I love Robin, but I don't see any need for them to update him more. Okay, so Darius is one that I really like. I've been using Darius since like the beginning. I remember when I was just playing through the early stories, I would use Darius a lot back in those days. He could definitely use one. His model holds up better than some just because he doesn't have a typical, body proportions, but you can still tell it doesn't, it does not keep up with the times. And like the axes, look at these particle effects, right? These are terrible. And his attack animations are, stock. They're not, they're day one. They're not good. Now there's a lot of other servants that I want animation updates for, like Shakespeare and Mozart, but they're not up there with like Billy and Sanson. Jekyll and Hyde is though, even though he's a terrible unit. I really like his character, like big time, and I would really like him to be good gameplay wise, but I still want him to get an animation update. Beowulf is up there because I like Beowulf a lot. His animations are already better than Sanson's though, and Billy's. So they're not as bad, but he could be so much better. So I definitely want him to get one. He's actually quite high on my list. That's a good example. Like, he's one of those servants where his character model looks reasonable, but the attack animations are nothing fancy. Dyrmid would be nice, and he deserves it, but I like him, but I don't like him as much as Billy and Ku and Darius, Sanson. He's not quite on that level. But he is up there, and I would be very pleased if he got an animation update. Like, I wouldn't mind at all. But I tell you what he really needs is a fucking art update. Like, this art, totally fine. But, like, this is not good art. I mean, it's just not. And it's not even a matter, I'm sorry, it is not a matter of, like, artistic choice. It's not like the art style. This is lazy art. It absolutely is. Because I've seen other art from this artist, and they can do way better than this. I mean, look at his arms. Like, look at his arms. Are you kidding me? Like his arm holding the yellow spear. It is so sloppily drawn, right? And it's because FGO was not even a big name back then. And I'm guessing they just phoned it in, right? And they probably didn't have a lot of time. They probably weren't being paid very much. Like, this artist absolutely can draw decent stuff, right? But this ain't it. This is pretty bad. Now his final decision is fine though. That's much better. Like, it's not the best in the game or anything, but it's a million times better. I mean, look at this. Like, just, yeah, spaghetti arms. It's literally spaghetti arms. It's not good. Absolutely not good. So, yeah, but they're never going to update that kind of art because it's, like, insulting to the artist and whatnot. So, never going to happen. Why did you point out the art? I hate it. Yeah, what are you going to do? It's like, old art, man. People are always complaining about, like Nightingale and stuff, but like that's mostly art style, where with Dyrmid there, it's quality. It's very much quality. Okay. Yes, here's the thing. The thing about like David and those things people are naming, they're kind of like what we already get. Right? Like, we've almost never got an animation update that I'm personally super hyped about. Now, I've been happy with them, and I've been, Caligula's is awesome and everything, so there's many that I've enjoyed, but there's never been something like as cool as Caligula's animation update for one of my favorite characters. That's just never happened, right? Like, the only time, well, I guess Gil, but, Gil is pretty easy to make good animations for. And his original animation update was like good enough that it wasn't like the end of the world, but yeah, I guess Gil is the closest. But what I'm getting at is like the characters that have from the beginning, when they first started introducing animation updates, 30 years ago, I was like, oh, Sanson, Billy, Darius, that's what I'm like, yeah. And they done Ku because he was one of the early ones, so I wasn't even thinking about that one at the time. And I'm still saying that, here we are all this time later, Jekyll and Hyde still doesn't have it, Sanson still doesn't have it, Billy still doesn't have it, Darius still doesn't have it. Basically none of the stuff that I was waiting on has ever gotten an animation update this entire time. Now, plenty of other characters that I do like a lot have gotten them and have gotten good ones, like Lancelot and Caligula and, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm still waiting on, like, my boys, right? The ones I've been like rooting for this whole time, and I keep they keep doing like Blackbeard and Tristan and Gwaine and all that, and those are great. I'm happy for the people that those are their favorite characters, right? Like their absolute favorites. But yeah, they haven't really gotten around to mine yet. But one day. But I'm just happy for animation updates in general because, like, for instance, Ushi has never been like one of my absolute favorite characters, right? She's not up there with Billy and all that, no way. but I know a lot of people liked her, right? She was a very popular character, and her original animations and character model. I wish they would store the old ones so you could like click a thing and show it. Cause holy crap, it was so bad, and she was like that for like 5.5 years, right? So you have all these people who are like, Ushi's their favorite character for like 5 years, and they had like an albino goblin. It's like, what the hell? This is terrible. But yeah, that's what I'm going through with Sanson here, and now we're like at 6 years, so. Or over 6 years now, it's like 6.5. I think it's more than 6.5 now. What about you all, chat? Does anyone in chat is your absolute favorite character? Not one of your favorite, like your real pinnacle units, those your grails, your level 100 2K foes, right? Are any of those still sitting there with like day one animations or near day one animations? Because a lot of mine are, like a lot of them. But Jolter, oh god! Now that's one people can complain about. Holy shit, that's one people can complain about. Let me go bring up Jolter here, because here's the thing about Jolter. She, first off, is very, been in the game for a very long time, because even though the Avenger version wasn't day one, her Avenger character model is her ruler character model. It's the same character model. So it is a day one character model. And although she wasn't playable day one, she was added very early. I think she was added within like the first like 8 months of the game. Right, and what they have said in interviews, Jolter was never supposed to be playable, but because she became so popular, they just started working on her, right, like after Orleans. So that's pretty much when she was done being worked on, she got added. But okay, so Jolter, here I'll do second stage because you can really see how bad it is. Very, very old unit, but unbelievably popular. I mean, to this day, super popular. I don't even want to know, I do not even want to know how much fan art there is of Jolter out there. Like, it's like unspeakable, right? Like how much there is, right? Like you could never go through it all, right? Just so much fucking fan art of this character, so much hype around this character, and people have been fans of her for, so long. I mean, for like 6 years. There's been fans of Jolter for 6 fucking years, right? And she is a 5-star, right? So they're more incentivized to do animation updates for 5 stars because they can like monetize that, right? They can rate them up and everything. And then here you have Jolter 6.5 years into the game, and she looks like this, right? She still looks like this, right? And she's way more popular than most of the waifus. I don't think there's any other waifu or male character, because there's a few male characters that are mega popular. I don't think there's any other super ultra popular character as popular as Jolter that still has a character model in animations this bad. I don't think there's any, right? Because there are some other, pretty popular characters that have old animations, but they're not even close to being on the level of like Jolter, right? They're not no way. She's the only one that is just like one of the absolute most popular characters that is fucking day one for some reason. Yeah, the thing is, I'm not the biggest Jolter fan. I don't hate her or super hype her. She's okay, right? She's just kind of exists, right? I don't mind her, but I mind because it's not fair, right? And I actually care about fairness and being reasonable and not screwing people over, because I'm over here with Sanson, one of my favorites, with his garbage ass animations and everything, and I know it feels terrible just being like, when is he getting an animation update? When is he getting an animation update? And it just never ends. You're just sitting here, right? And even though Jolter's not my favorite character, it's other people's favorite character. As much as I like Sanson and Billy and Ku and all that, they like Jolter that much, right? So I want them to get an animation update, right? Because this is a disgrace. Nobody deserves costumes. They just like moved. All they did was paper mache and like moved her leg, right? They didn't actually redraw it or anything. Like her body proportions are the same, right? So bad, so fucking bad. Anyway, yeah, nobody deserves their favorites to look that bad. Like Ushi's not one of my top favorites, but I was super happy for Ushi fans to get the animation update because it's atrocious, right? It's absolutely terrible. And if I want my favorites to get animation updates, you gotta, be reasonable and let other people get it too, right? Oh, here's a fun one. So, also really old character model. And then they just paper mached it and then drew the costume onto it, right? See, her body proportions are still terrible, right? Like it's still a day one character model, but then it has a dress sketched onto it, right? It's just so bad. It's so fucking bad. Oh my god. I also like how this is all Japanese text and it's just prove. Just prove. No context. Like, prove what? Edmund got an animation update though, and Edmund's looking pretty good. The thing, Jolter looks worse than when she was released, because Jolter was added in around America. The thing is, they were kind of lazy, right? They still used the base character model of Ruler Jolter. So even though the other American models, like even Dearmid and stuff like that, their character sprites are actually of higher quality than Ruler Jolter, so they look better than her. But Avenger Jolter is using the same damn sprite, so she looks worse than when she actually was added, which is kind of fucked up. I'm pretty sure they know how dumb it is that Jolter looks that bad, and how, but they haven't rated her up in a long time. And what they're doing, and with the coin system and everything, like, mark my words, there is going to be an event where Jolter and regular Joan of Arc are going to be pretty prominent in it, because they haven't been prominent in anything in some time, and they're going to be rated up, and they're going to get animation updates, and they might even get a buff or some stuff, and there's loads of people that already have Jolter, right? Lost has NP5 Jolter, right? NP5. But because of the coin system and everything else, they're going to get a lot of those people to roll again. Now, I don't think Jolter's not going to make as much money. Okay, NP6, that's right, you got that one. You were just thinking ahead with the coin system. Anyway, there's no way Jolter's going to make as much money as like Morgan did, right? Because nobody had Morgan, and then, you know, they rated up all in one place. Where Jolter's had several rate-ups over the years, so, and people have gotten her through GSSR, and there's been so many GSSRs, and I know it, don't lie to me, chat. I know there's people out there that they've picked their GSR every year based on what gives them a shot at Jolter. I know those people exist. And because it's been so many years, some of those people have probably finally gotten Jolter that way, right? Instead of like getting it through a normal rate up. And so between those people and all the people that got her when she was rated up a long time ago, you know, a lot of the fans of Jolter already got her. They don't, but because of the coin system, they're going to roll again. And the new players who've missed out on those chances, those new players are also going to roll. So Jolter's going to make him money. Like she will. Jolter's going to make him money when they do give her an animation update and rate her up again, and you put her in an event story or whatever. She'll make bank. Again, not as much bank as like a brand new popular waifu, because too many people already have her, but more than you would typically see out of a rerun. That would be my guess. I think her rerun is going to do better than you would expect, especially for someone that's already been reran a few times. Like Merlin's second rate up was huge, because that was only the second time he'd ever been rated up, and on his original rate up, not everyone knew he was OP yet. So his second rate up was huge, but then like his third and fourth rate ups, you know, not so much. But like with Jolter, it's gonna be like her fifth or sixth rate up or something. But it'll probably still do pretty well, I suspect. Christmas could be, you know, it could be anything. But my guess is just it's something that they've planned for a while. Like I said it with Ushi. Like because they had gone so long without updating Ushi, I was like, you know what? They've already planned it. They've already decided well in advance, because they've said they plan events, you know, well in advance. So I had said that they had just picked an event on the calendar. This event, Ushi event, she gets her animation update then, right? And even if they finished the animation update, they weren't adding it until then. I think they've done the same thing with Jolter. Could be Christmas, could be some other random event, could be a main story, could be whatever. But yeah, I think it's like Ushi, because with Ushi, you know, Little Big Tengu happened, and then boom, she got the animation update. And I think they had been planning that for some time. Christmas Gilius, I'd be okay with that. I do think though, because the last Christmas event was a male Santa, they're not going to do that again. Although it went over very well, that was actually one of the most positive times I've actually seen the FGO community pretty universally, because Karna is a very uncontroversial character, right? Everybody likes Karna. I mean, there's Bob in the corner over there. They're gonna fucking hate Karna, but no one listens to Bob. He can shut the fuck up. Nobody cares, right? Everybody else likes Karna, right? Even if he's not your favorite, he's generally, you know, a liked character. And then between that and then just the event was pretty generous with rewards and everything. That was a pretty liked event, even though it was kind of boring with the content. But Arjuna. But yeah, no one was really mad about getting male welfare. Like, you know, they were pretty happy about it. But I don't think they're gonna do it again. You know, they're like, oh, we've met our male quota. Now we can go back to spamming waifus. That being said, we've had 3 males this year. Can we have some more? Like, please? Like, they can be low stars, I don't even care. Just like, what the hell? Like, I mean, really, what the hell? It's like the worst year ever for male characters. And especially when, like, the male characters have sold really well. So, it's not, I keep saying this, I don't think it's a money grubby thing. I think it's just the artists and the creators just like, yeah, I like tits. I think that's all it is. It's literally just that. Because when you look at the sales data, nothing points to males, you know, not being, you know, worth making. Nothing points to that. Like, actually, quite the opposite, really. A lot of the males, like Ivan, Merlin, Edmund, Oberon, Vortigern, you know, all that stuff, they've sold super well. Muramasa actually didn't sell he sold well. He sold better than plenty of waifus, but he didn't sell, like, he's not among the best of the selling males. There's a lot that did better. Good old Granny, I love Arjuna. Hey Fishy, thank you for the 15 months. Actually, sometimes Type Moon is pretty hands-on, it depends. Especially early in FGO, but there's been several times where artists have said, like, Type Moon dictated that they had to change the, like, the person that made, what's her name? Helena, right? They made her change the design, or I don't know if it's a she or he who made that design, I can't remember. But they forced them to change that design and completely change it, right? They dictated the style and everything where it needed to be a lolly and all that. And same for Ushi, like the original Ushi design was different. They never showed that one. They eventually showed the original Helena design, but they've never actually shown the original Ushi one. I suspect it's that, like, what was that CE? They did a Ushi CE where she had a very similar style. It was almost exactly what she normally wears, but it was less patchwork and she was just wearing more. I suspect that's what it was. Because they said with Ushi, the artist said that they made the design, and then Type Moon specifically said you have to make that with less clothes. That was it. So I kind of suspect that one design they showed off a while ago, that was probably her original design. Yeah, Mothman was another one that had a more normal design. Yeah, no blender style. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the blender look there. So Helena, though, I think they made a mistake. That one, I really do think they made a mistake. Where I think if they had released original Helena, I think she would have sold way better. I think they just totally missed the mark on that, because Helena's not that popular. There's like 27 guys out there that are like huge Helena fans, and that's it. Like she's not hated, but she's absolutely not hyped. So I definitely think they missed the mark on that one. Yeah, she exists. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. She's there. Dozens of us, yeah. Someone can probably just link the design in chat. It's not too hard to find. If you just look like FGO or Fate, Helena, original design, you'll probably find it that way. She is pretty good for farming. She legit, and then she got buffed and all that. She's pretty solid. Oh, someone got smited by Moobot. You gotta be a sub, or you gotta get permission from a moderator. Is Lost a mod? Yeah, Lost is a moderator if he can prevent somebody. Or Lost could just link it. That works too. I think there were a couple of other redesigns from Type Moon, but those are the only ones I can remember. It seems like though they're more hands-off now that the game's more successful, and I think they've seen that a lot of times the community likes the different art styles and everything. So it seems like they're more hands-off now, and also they have the ability to kind of hire literally whoever they want now. And so if you hire someone based off of, oh, I like their work, you kind of want to let them do their own thing, right? If you're like, oh, hey, I saw some work by this person, I want to see if they want to do FGO stuff, then you're a lot more willing to be hands off at that point. Like if you respect an artist or like their work or whatever, it's like you're way less likely to get involved in a a pushy way anyway. Come on, bullshit coup copy, let's go. Would never expect to get that in 2000, but it could happen. Not a damn thing. Then you got Avenger Boudica. That's had a design for a while. I'm probably not gonna use my summon tickets until there's at least something I vaguely care about, right? I'm obviously going to use the tickets mostly trying to get coup copies, but I want there to. I mean, I do like Saito, but I already got him, so I'll wait for them to like rate up a 4-star that I at least think their gameplay's interesting or some shit. What I'm hoping happens. I know that I don't think this is copium. I think it's hopium, right? But I think it's reasonable. This could happen. That either the 5.5 locked event or the 6, because they said there's a 5.5 locked event and then there's going to be a Lost Belt 6 locked event, like boom boom. So my hope is the 5.51 is Saber Wars 3, and that gives Billy an animation update and a buff, and then like maybe they add that other gunslinger or something, for God's sakes, that's at least remotely cool, and then maybe even Billy's rated up. Right, and I could get Billy coins or something, right? Like that would be a pretty nice timeline right there, but we'll see. It's hard to say. They might not do Saber Wars 3 for a while. I think Billy might get a buff. I mean, it doesn't have, if Billy does get a buff, it's not necessarily going to be when he gets an animation update, but I could see him getting a buff pretty easily at some point when they do interludes or when they do the anniversary strengthening quests and stuff like that. I could totally see him randomly getting one, because he's nothing special, like absolutely not. I'd actually say he's aged kind of poorly with the other units getting more battery, and there's so many 50% batteries with other effects now, and the passive skills are pretty diminishing returns for him and make other units kind of better than him, like Bedivere. So I don't think they'd be against buffing Billy at this point. And when you compare him to Robin is better and things like that. So I could see it happening. Now I wouldn't say he'd be like top of the list, right? There's clearly other low stars that could use it more. But if Billy just randomly got a buff, I'm not gonna be like, whoa, how did that happen, right? It's nothing like them buffing Ku again, or Ushi again, or 100 Face or something. It's not like that at all. What I'd actually like to see them do is give him an attack up, or a quick up, preferably attack up, but quick up would be okay on his second skill. It makes lore sense because it's quick draw. And he's about to shoot a bitch. And giving him like attack up makes a lot of sense because you're probably going to use your second skill and immediately NP. That's very common. So the attack up will then apply to his NP, so now he gets that NP really fast and quick and doesn't need to rely on other units, and it'll hit a bit harder. Still not going to hit as hard as a lot of the other low stars out there, but it's something. And then if you do like a quick chain, or you're using Hans to get stars or whatever, so after you NP, you go for crits. That's very standard for Billy. You go NP, maybe break a health bar, then try to crit the next health bar, or whatever. And if the attack up was like a 2-turn attack up or a 3-turn attack up, that attack up will also be there for the crits, right? Or if you don't crit, it's still better. So I would really fix him, in my opinion, is just give him an attack up, like a 3-turn, 20% attack up on his second skill. All you gotta do. Doesn't even make him that much better, but it makes him better enough and more consistent and more well-rounded. So that's a good way to do it. You could do quick up, because then he'd make more stars, but his deck is only 2 quick cards, so I like his hack up better. You can also add a Star Bomb to it. That's what everyone wants. Every time I see people talk about buffing Billy, they want Star Bomb or Star Absorb, but I think that's lazy, and it's not that hard to make enough stars for him to crit without a Star Absorb skill, so I'd rather they focus on like more consistent stuff than, but that's what everybody wants, is Star Absorb or Star Bomb, or both. That's probably what people really want, is both. But I actually don't want that. Like, for example, let's say you put Star Bomb on his second skill. That's just going to be awkward because you're going to use his second skill and go to NP, and you're not critting that turn. And then now you've lost your stars. And you can put on his first skill, and that actually syncs up just fine. But I don't know if they would buff that one. Who knows? Zerker could use a buff. I mean, he's really strong as is, but he could use a buff. A lot of his competition is, you know, pound for pound better, I would say. Okay, so we want to get just 9 of the clay, and then we can just Zerg the wheat from like this other node, and then we're pretty much done for today. I'll do another account review in a second here. Valkyries do need a buff, but because they have good synergy with Scatty, I don't think they're going to. Give Billy another battery, that'd be pretty silly. Time for Mash You, Smash You, I think. 20% crit, let's go. Easy! 40k, how about that? No problem. I like how she did 40k and then she does 9k. They might buff Valkyrie at this point because, yeah, people think quick is bad now. You know, it used to be the hot thing. It was like, oh, double scatty, OP, and it was 3-turning all the challenge quests and stuff. But now because of Castoria, I was like, oh, quick is dead, it's so bad now. It can only 3-turn challenge quests. Can you believe that? So yeah, they might buff it because of that. Dude, the FGO community is just a bunch of fucking morons. Well, it's a vocal minority of morons, right? Most FGO players are totally fine, but... Why on earth would I have... I don't know why people keep bringing up the MASH thing. Like, I don't know if she can be 90. Do I need to go down a list of all the reasons why she's not level 90? Okay, so number 1, does anyone here think I give a fuck about MASH? Right? Like, it's Grail MASH. I'm so wanting to do that. You think I 2K folder or something? Like, I don't give a fuck. Second off, she doesn't need it. Has anyone, at any point, have I done a budget setup where you're like, oh, if she was 90, that would have worked, but it doesn't work at 80? Like, what do you like, it don't fucking matter. And then thirdly, where do you think the XP's been going lately, right? You think I'm just like, oh yeah, let me just level up MASH. Like, between Burgist, Percival, and this little thing, it's just little thing where taking a unit from level 100 to 101 is like taking a unit from level 1 to 100. I just did this on the stream, right? Where I was leveling Ku from 104 to 106. Did you see how much XP that took? Did anybody see that? And guess what? I'm not done because I have to go to 120. 120. You're like, oh, but you've got more 5-star embers in your mailbox because, you know, yeah, that'll totally be enough for 110 and then 115 and 120, right? I've got excess, right? No, I am in XP debt. I'm in massive XP debt right now. That shit goes to Ku. You think I'm leveling MASH over Ku? Can you imagine? I started playing this game to get Ku, right? And I'm gonna be sitting here, level MASH, level Ku. Clearly we're gonna level the eggplant, right? Clearly, right? Like I've been asked this so many times over like the last few months, and I'm like, why do you, what do you think? Like, maybe come up, just use your head for a second. Why do you think I'm not leveling her? And you know, meanwhile, everyone's saying I don't have enough XP to 120 anything. Like, oh, level MASH though. I gotta get those bigger buster crits. And someone was going on about that yesterday, and I just ignored it. I was like, Jesus Christ. It's like people actually think I don't know how to level servants or something. Eggplant good, Coup bad, Quick is dead, yeah. But Buster's dead too. Clearly. Although actually, I guess everyone thinks Buster's good now, but the thing is, it's kind of dumb because honestly, Oberon Vinch stuff is not even that practical. It can be good sometimes, absolutely, but it really isn't like better than Castoria at all. And you have to have like Vinch specifically, which again, she's limited. Like all of the cards are fine. That's the thing. Quick, Buster, Art, they're all fine. Whichever rare thing you happen to have is like the one you can focus on the best. Like if you got Castoria, you do Art. If you got Vinch and Merlin or something, you do Buster. If you got Scatty, you do Quick. They're all fine, they all work, and because they're all limited and they're all, you know, a lot of people don't have access to a lot of them, just use which one you've got. Like, or here's a thought, use the one that you like. That's a concept. Imagine making teams and setups that you like. Imagine like playing the game in a way that you actually enjoy. There's a concept right there. Like, go use fucking Mozart or something. Jesus. Dude, this music though, pretty good. Need to play more of that Metroid Prime, man. Good game. Okay, legitimately though, Nightingale is not like, she's not a big boy support, right? She's a good solid like budget support, but she's not a budget unit, which is kind of the problem, right? Like yeah, she's better than like Shakespeare generally, but she doesn't keep up even close to Merlin, Vinch, Oberon, Castoria, Scatty, Nero Bride. She's not even close to those. When she's good, it's because of the utility and like her NP and stuff. It's not for the Buster support aspect. That's just like a bonus. Like it's kind of funny because it used to be the other way around, but that's absolutely how she is now. She's there for the healing and all that stuff, and the attack down, NP down, and what's your death resist, I think. Like, you know, she's utility stuff. Not the Buster is just like, hey, it's a thing she can do on the side, which is fine. It's not like she doesn't need to be as good as Merlin to be a fun usable unit. But it's not like, oh yeah, I want to do Buster things. Let me bring Nightingale, right? Like, if anything, you're more likely to have like Penth, and Penth can kind of do the same thing for the pure support stuff. I mean, hell, even if you want a 3-turn all the time, which is literally not meta. Like right now, it is not meta for me to 3-turn, right? Because I'm getting so much more boom for my buck per stage by not 3-turning, right? And that's very common for free to play. That's going to be the case. Like a lot of times going for 3-turning is bad. It's actively bad, and you're wasting a lot of AP when you do it. You know, they're like trying to mimic whales, and it's just stupid. Anyway, it depends on the event though. Like most events actually aren't like this one. This one is kind of abnormal in how much it can incentivize being slow. And also, even like the main thing that's getting me is the fact that I rolled on Saito last year, so I have the event CEs. Because if I didn't have the event CEs, I would be bringing K-scope and stuff, and I would be beating these way faster. So I normally don't roll on the Gacha, so I wouldn't have it, but I just happen to have it, so it's like I can't pass it up, right? I can't say no to the value. Anyway, if you're wanting 2-3 though, you can still mix it up. I mean, there's like almost no, like this stage right here, this stage, there are so many ways you can 3-turn this. You can 3-turn this with Merlin, even though he's only got 20% battery. You absolutely could do Merlin setups to 3-turn this. You can do Vinch setups to 3-turn this. You can do Arash Spartacus, like easy because they're sabers, very easy to 3-turn this with Arash Spartacus. You could bring 3 servants that all have self battery, units like Mordred or you know whatever. That's another way of doing it, right? You can do Qingong stuff, so you can do that with that. You can do, of course, Scatty and the typical double Scatty stuff for Castoria, right? Like, there's no end to the amount of ways you can 3-turn stages, right? There's so many ways to go about it, and it can be fun to like have different stages that incentivize the different, you know, types of setup and stuff. And that's what Silent Blade was talking about in his account review. The fact that a lot of the reasons you might like, oh, it's good to have a servant that can also do like a big crit turn, so you deal with that mini boss in the middle, but that stuff doesn't matter anymore, really, right? Because of Castoria, it is so easy to 3-turn everything, no matter the context, right? Like Castoria has made farming setups extremely straightforward and, you know, very samey, and all people that like farming and they like finding ways to be meta. That's the thing, people, and I know this because I've watched people play from, you know, from when I started and from when, and then later down the road when NA was created. I suspect Silent Blade is one of these people I'm about to describe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But I know people that, you know, they got into like FGO NA. We'll use NA as the example because that started, you know, when I'd already been playing for a long time. And back in the early days, if you wanted to be like 3-turning or farming optimally, be it AP to drop ratio or time to drop ratio, either way, you know, you had to mix up your teams kind of often, actually. Like as you would switch nodes, you would normally have to switch the team up a decent amount, and you'd see some pretty different, you know, setups, and you have different reasons to use all kinds of different servants, like all kinds of different servants. Remember when Drake used to be really meta, right? And so I've never been one of those people, but I know people that liked that. They liked, as they did new events and new nodes in the event, they kept changing what they were doing, and they might kind of, as they would do the node a few times, they'd experiment with how to make it better. Oh, how I can, you know, bring more bonus stuff, or how I can do it a little bit faster, or whatever. And they kind of enjoy that. And then ever since, like even Scatty, but even more so with Castoria, that like died, right? Gone, right? If you're one of those meta like farming people, you normally are more like, you know, meta slave mindset. It's you're obviously rolling on the meta supports and everything, and then you get Castoria, and then you don't have to think anymore. Like you literally don't have to think anymore. It's like you just can do the same bullshit for like 90% of stages, and for that 10% where it doesn't work, you still use Castoria, right? And you still use that backbone. You just tweak it a little bit. Maybe you have to be a bit smarter with your DPS. Maybe you have to work on a crit thing or a single target, you know, or a switch, and that's it, right? That it's still the same framework, right? And it's never changed since then, right? It's been the same same same. And some people don't mind that, like, oh yeah, I hate farming, and the fact now that farming is simpler and easier, I'm okay with. But then some people aren't okay with it, right? And I'm like, I think it is bad for the game. I think overall Castoria bullshit is bad for the game, because if you don't like farming, there's enough ways to kind of cheese it, and oh no, maybe you 4-turn every once in a while. But you know, between Spartacus, Araj, Chen Gong, and everything else, you have enough ways to, you know, farm decently optimally in a rather brainless way anyway. And if people want to get really min-maxy and have to actually think when they're farming, that's fine. So yeah, I think Castoria was a mistake. And here's this, I think a huge part, everything I just said, but then also on the flip side, the other part of the game, the main story, the challenge quests, you know, my turf, the stuff I really enjoy, the reason why I play the game, she's horrible for that too. If anything, she's worse for that. Because not only does she just give you a ludicrous amount of burst damage and sustained damage, and there's just, I can't think, name me one, Chad, I cannot think of a single challenge quest that has existed before or after Castoria existed, or a main story fight where Castoria is not meta. I can't think of one. And not only is she meta, she's like meta, right? She's normally the best option, or tied, right? With like Vinch, Oberyn bullshit, right? Like I cannot think of a single boss fight that she's bad for. And not only that, but she's a lot of times broken, where she's the only support that can make the fight easy, right? Because she does anti-debuff. She lets you block pierce and vulnerability. There are bosses that they have permanent pierce and vulnerability. That's their gimmick. They have permanent pierce and vulnerability. No one is ever going to be as helpful as Castoria, right? If you don't have Castoria, you have to actually respect the boss and maybe cycle units and deal with people dying and shit like that, or do lots of defense up. You have to deal with it, right? You have Castoria, you don't have to deal with it, right? Every goddamn boss fight is like that. Now, there's a few bosses like Fluffy that can still be difficult with Castoria, but Castoria is still the best fucking support for it, right? And yeah, Merlin might be better there, but that's a kind of a unique one. But she's like she's pretty much tied with him, right? She's almost just as good. And that's clearly not good for the game. I mean, she is so universal. She's so brain dead. She's so you know, you should always put her on the team. The only reason you don't put her on the team is because you can't. Because you don't have her and there's no friend support, or because you don't want to, like me, I don't want to cheese the game and everything. That's the only reasons you shouldn't bring Castoria. You should always bring her otherwise. I mean, for God's sakes, even Buster teams, like the Leviathans that get all of the strong supports, because some people out there, they only have the Buster stuff. Like they roll through Merlin and they roll through Vinch, but that's it. They don't have the other stuff. But those Leviathans that have all of it, they got Waver, Nero Bride, Vinch, Reigns, Castoria, Scatty, they have all of them. They have all of that, like, big battery stuff, all that nonsense. When they do Busters memes, they normally still use Castoria. right? Because they normally need another battery servant, and she's like the best one. So like Castoria doesn't even need to be on a goddamn art team for her to be super meta, because still 50% battery, still giant attack up, still super invulnerability, debuff clear. It's like, what the hell, right? Like, I mean, she is terrible for the game. I mean, she is terrible for the game. And not only did she just make everything brain dead and stupid, but she's made DW have to do like really dumb stuff to try to compensate. Because they have to now put out, like, look at Oberon and Vinch, right? They're pretty ridiculous. And they're ridiculous because of Castoria. Like, I can almost guarantee you, if you could go back in time and like butterfly effect this, where Scatty was like a 30% battery instead of 50%, and maybe like, you know, 30 or 40% quick up for 2 turns instead of 3 turns, or maybe 50% but just for 2 turns. And then Castoria was also dialed back a lot, right? I guarantee you, if that was the case, Vinch might not even been a Buster support. She probably would have been an art support or a quick support or not a support at all. I almost guarantee you that would have been the case. And then even if she was a Buster support, she'd also be dialed way the fuck back. Same for Oberon. I don't think Oberon would have a fucking 70% battery if Scatty and Castoria had never been so strong and NPs refunding themselves, right? Because Scatty and Castor or Tori are the main reason we've got NPs giving their own NPs back, right? If that meta never happened, I don't think for a second Oberon would give 70% battery. I don't think Vinch would be as ridiculous as she is. I don't think any of that would have happened, right? I think that literally happened because of them. They're trying to keep up. They're trying to, you know, and that's power creep, right? You're just pushing the game forward in the wrong direction, in my opinion. So I think Scatty was bad for the game, but I think Castoria was even much worse for the game. And it's kind of just trickled into the other every goddamn new support that they want to be meta is bad for the game now, and it's making things pretty silly, right? It's making things rather silly. I'm not a fan of it. Okay, let's do an account review. We're gonna do it's either Sinti or Sintai. This one's out of order, but you know they've been in my stream a lot lately, and we used their Gareth a lot, and I just saw that they had an advice account review instead of a flex one, so I figured we would do that. Spelling it literally does not make a difference. I don't know why you would say that. There's no text to speech. That's such a dumb fucking thing. The spelling is right in front of me, right? Like, and then you just spell it again. It's like, okay, good job. Jesus Christ. And you're not even the person, right? Like if the person brings it up, jeez. Anyway, I like this first picture. Just high green. That's just that good start. Not capital G though, or the H. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Hello Green, I'm yellow. See, Sint E. See, that's how you do it. See, they know because I and E can go both ways. They actually did it the smart way. Look at that. It's like they're aware of this or something. It's like that's why they're the one that should be answering. Anyway, so Super Gareth fan here. I like how you got NA and JP, both incomplete. So let's see. We got 100 and then Bond 8. And then almost 2k foe, but not quite. And then the JP one, you got the 2k foe, and then past bond 10, but you know 110, not 120. So I guess that's why it's incomplete. But your JP one is obviously stronger, but your NA one is keeping up there though. That's gonna be cool to see Gareth at. Oh, you can't see it. Let me bring this up here. It's because that's the wrong one. It's because the screens are the same, that's why. Okay, but yeah, see how they did that on the text there, chat? That's the smart way. Anyway, I'm the Gareth guy. This is my NA alt. As of me making this, it is 75 days old. Okay, so it's quite new. I'm surprised your Gareth is actually that far along then. And I took the screenshots immediately after I beat Lost Belt 2. This alt account is a bit of a challenge gimmick account, which I hope you give your advice around. This account has 2 major restrictions. No mail service. I'm out. You're banned. We're out. That's it. Stream's over. That's the end of it. It's all done. Actually, hold on. I will be right back. I gotta get water real quick. Bruh. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'll be right back. 1 second. Alright. What a day, chat. What a day. Alright, what are we looking at here? Okay, no male servants except for level 1, Gong, George, and Leo. I can't use any male servants at all. This is bullshit. Including friend support, unless it's 4-story support. I'm not allowed to have a backline in story fights. This rule can be bent a little and does not apply in farming. Currently hoarding SQ for Castoria, but I would like to know what I should roll for and what I should level given the gimmicks. I mean, most of the meta supports are all females anyway, so it don't really fucking matter. Honestly, this is the first rule doesn't even matter that much because almost everything meta in this game is waifus anyway. I mean, there are meta males, but there's always female, you know, equivalents because, you know, Castoria, Scatty, Vinch, they're all females, right? And like, yeah, Merlin's meta as fuck, but you know, if you're using Castoria instead, you're not like, oh no, I don't have Merlin, right? The only thing you would ever say is, oh no, I don't have any of the meta supports, right? But if you have some of them, it's never gonna matter too much. Let's see here. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, and Kidu is, you know, he's clay. What are we doing here? Okay, 100 gold apples. Well, I mean, if you're not doing low star stuff, then it doesn't particularly matter. I definitely did not let myself use Dion because I had her. So, I mean, Dion literally can be either one. So, all right, so we got Nev. What's her? Gozen and Hokusai. I mean, that's enough. I mean, Hokusai and Gozen will get you pretty far there. And then Nev is backup. That can pretty much handle anything that you'll... The only issue is like you don't have any like, wow, they're really tanky, right? You don't really have one of those, but like that's fine. You've got AoE, you got single target, and Suzuka's got crits, and then Mev kind of sucks, but she's still backup, right? And she has some decent support, so. What the fuck? That is so cursed. I like how you made the second skill 10, but no, this doesn't count. Still don't pass the David test. Good try, good try. I like how it's got David down in the corner. Wow, David is really good. I like how even in the look, you did green in the screenshot here. Thank goodness I got SSR AoE Genderbent Summer David, Genderbent Summer David to help me with my account. David was very useful during Guildfest and honestly did more work than Uriel. Like that's kind of funny though that you have no other archers. Like that's literally all you have. That's kind of unfortunate. Again, you got single target in AoE though. Uriel fucking sucks. I'm sure you've seen this. This is exactly why Uriel is not the best low star archer, because if you're fighting a boar, a dragon, a female, a genderless, you know, anything like that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's not male. She sucks. Like, oh my god, she sucks. She's so bad. So yeah, I imagine you use Joan of Arc like constantly because all the stuff that's not male is kind of a problem. Okay, for some reason all my Lancers are Buster. I would ascend Liz, but kind of need Fangs. Don't bully me for not finishing Gareth yet. I mean, wait a minute. So this is a second NA account, right? So, because you've got the level 100 Garrett there, that's 1.8k. So this is another one, right? It's neither of these Garretts. These are on different accounts. So this one, that's why Gareth is you really should have get her to 65. So I'm just saying, you know, farm a little bit. Don't you burn Angra. Don't you bring that toxic crap in here. Although, you know, see what happens is that's what the Grail did, right? And then he corrupted the Grail. So now your Gareth's, you know, corrupted. So you done goofed. Let's see, for some reason, all my Lancers are Buster, right, I need Fangs, yeah, okay. So you got AoE for Liz, your skill ranks suck. Liz is good, though. I don't like her or anything, but Liz is good. Like, she's good. Garrett's skill ranks suck. Taiga's not leveled at all. NP3 though. Taiga's probably worth, well, I don't know. With Ibuki, you don't really have to level Taiga, but you might want the extra oomph. But I wouldn't worry about it right now. I'd probably level other things like Ibuki and Gareth are your straightforward nuking, and then Liz is your AoE and some support. So it's fine. That covers most of your bases. You don't really need another one. Okay, having Lolly Vinci before beating Orleans is weird. She's also probably my best battery supplier, which is kind of sad. Ushi is good. Yep. Let's see. So you've got Ushi for single target. You've got Da Vinci for just general stuff, really, because she's a 5-star, but AoE. And then, honestly, Yuri Pirates, even on this account, are probably not worth leveling because it's NA. They don't have their buff. If it was JP, I'd say they're actually worth it, but I'd level Medusa. That's probably the one to level. That gives you a... Because Medusa's got good AoE, good farming, and then if you have to use her in single target, she's still fine, and you get the Petrify, which is better than Stun. So Medusa's just... She's really good for this account, especially, again, for farming, so it just makes a lot of sense. But between Vinci and Ushi, that's all you need for most content. But every once in a while, when you come across something harder, it'll matter. Well, that's going to be a bad time. That's going to be a bad time. Yeah, nice damage, Medea. Okay, let's see here. I just beat Lost Belt 2, so Caster Shootin' will join the ranks soon. But yeah, friend support casters carried very hard for every assassin fight up to this point. I rolled on caster class banner, hoping to get literally anyone I could use. Feels bad. I got an RP Edison. Also, the damage under Ilya is what she did against Barbatos and Solomon Singularity with very minimum support. Yeah, Medea is not great. I mean, she's still worth leveling because you don't have a caster, so you might need to back up to work with your support. And she's got buff removal and anti-debuff, so she's still worth leveling. Like, it's worth getting the 3rd skill for. Let's see, I wish I could praise 100 Face for carrying me, except mine is scuffed and support Jack carried me while 100 Face washed. Also, Amon-Ra is harder than Gwen and Camelot, at least for this account. I mean, Amon-Ra can be a bitch sometimes, but... so I'm guessing you just use story support Jack all of the time. But it's so good to have a 100 Face because, 1, sometimes you still need a backup. And 2, you're going to have fights where you don't have story support or friend support, so you need one of your own. And literally, even a scuffed 100 Face can solo Raiko in the Shootin' Raiko fight. I've done it, so, and with a 3-star craft essence, for God's sakes. Also, The Mandalorian is the only good thing Disney has done with Star Wars. Don't at me, although I figure a lot of people agree with me on that. Like, literally everything Disney's done with Star Wars sucks, except for The Mandalorian. Okay, Jolter, Zerker carries quite often. Yeah, Jerker is like such a universal win button. Like, she's just a nice, straightforward, has survival, works against any class, gets battery quick, right? That she's just good, solid value, right? Rogue One was I don't hate it, but I don't think it was great, like, at all. Also, there's so many like inconsistencies. It's so obviously like if you look at the original Star Wars canon, Rogue One makes no sense. Like it breaks the canon in so many places, and they make it like new. Oh, this guy designed the Death Star. And all it's just stupid. Like it literally doesn't make any sense. And the robot's cool. The monk is cool. Darth Vader killing people is cool, but that's it. That's it. Everything. I don't care about anything else in Rogue One, and it's actually really boring for the most part. But the droid's good, and the monk is good, but fuck just about everything else. Like when I watched it a second time, I was like, this movie's dumb. Like it's not great. I mean, it's better than the sequels, right? But that's a low fucking bar, right? Like that's like saying, oh, this is better than you know utter dog shit. It's like, okay, sure. I know of Visions, but I have not seen it. But Disney didn't really make that, so that doesn't really count. I haven't seen Bad Batch. But Star Wars sucks so much these days. I don't really keep up with it. I do know though that like was it Dave Filoni and I forget the other guy's name because I'm a heathen, but I know they don't suck and like they fight against a lot of the stupid stuff Disney does. So like that's probably not that bad, but I haven't actually seen it, so. Okay, you're really lucky. Well, I don't know why we got Fluffy there, but never enough Fluffy. I like Fluffy with Minotaur, so it's like super fluffy, right? That's like super concentrated fluff right there. MHX is going to carry this account so hard against Fluffy, though. Like, Castoria and MHX, you win, right? That's all you got to do. Jolter was for my GSSR, which I only did because of a dumb bet. If my main got the worst possible result in GSR... MHX made so many Berserker fights significantly easier. Yeah, she does that, which is great. When I'm not allowed to use backup DPS, I may grail her to 7. Most of these Berserkers, though, like, Fluffy's a problem, but, like, Minotaur, you could just do with, like, 100 face and... I mean, literally anyone else. Like, you do Jerker 100 face, that works against Minotaur, or Ushi 100 face, that works against Minotaur. And then Gareth, obviously, right? You don't have to have MHXX, but she will make it, obviously, super easy mode. Fluffy will still be a little hard just because you have to figure out like how the fight works, but I mean if you get Castoria and MHXX you'll be fine. But really, I mean this is not that hard of a gimmick in my opinion, especially because like there's just so many meta things that are female. The only hard thing about this account is really early on, like when the account is really new, because when you're new you're mostly going to be using bronze and silver, and bronze and silver is mostly guys, right? But it's not hard to graduate out of using bronze and silvers, and then you do have things like Ushi and whatnot, so it's really not that big of a deal. Like you'll be fine. Like at the very start it's going to be annoying, but the early game's not that bad. So like against Fluffy, I mean loads of people that beat Fluffy use all female servants anyway, and they're not even trying to, right? It just works out that way. Minotaur costume win, by the way. Here's the notable CEs. Let's see. Do we have Art of Death? That's almost always what I look for when you're kind of missing like the more typical meta stuff. No Art of Death yet. That's unfortunate. You could really use that in a few situations. So you got the anti-caster one. That's good. I don't think you have the anti-berserker one yet. You're probably going to want that one. Either that or use rare prisms to get the anti-divinity one. But in the long run, probably both. You still need... You do have some Pierce and Vulnerability because of anti-caster, but it's not as good as literally all the other options. But before 5.5, you want Pierce and Vulnerability. You have a little bit of 50% starting MP, right? Suzuka and Painting Summer. That's like good enough, right? It's like a backbone. It's good enough, but it's not awesome. Especially with how much Buster you've got. You've got so much Buster. You're going to want something else. But hopefully you get like Art of Death. And then just, yeah, keep, you probably have extra rare prisms, so the Attila starting NP / Pierce and Vulnerability, that's really good. The Arjuna anti-divinity one, that's super fucking good. So those will round out a lot of that stuff. Auto made a thing. This is probably going to be... It's asking for my login, so I can't see that right now. But I suspect this to be something... troll related, but Rip Angra. Alright, well, I mean, really, between MHX and Castoria, you should be fine. The only class you have to really worry about is Caster and Archer. But you can cover, like, Assassins with Jerker, and then Support, and then even MHXX and Jolter, so it's not that bad. And Archer's the only one that's a little bad right now. But again, Jerker and everything, you should be fine. And Joan of Arc, some people say she sucks. She really doesn't. She's not like the best 5-star, but she's fine. Like, she's fine. It's just that she's AoE, right? The fact that she's AoE, when you do have to do single target, will be, scuffed. But it's not that big of a deal. And thankfully, you do have some things that are going to be male, so... Trying to see if there's... I'm trying to think if there's anything else you could do for casters. I can't really... Like, you can obviously roll on a gold one if they're rated up, but other than that, I mean, you don't really have any options there right now. But basically, just focus on your berserkers and like, your extra classes to cover, like, the few times you can't use something like 100 Face or Ushi, like, so if you are fighting, what would it be, Assassin or... I guess Saber sometimes. Just make sure you've got, Jerker. Like, getting Jerker to 10-10-10, right? Like, that's what I would probably focus on. I got Scatty. Oh, if you have Scatty, I mean, no joke, you can use DPS Scatty, right? Just because she's a 5. I'm not even kidding. Like as a 5-star, it's okay, right? Like, yeah, it's not as good. It's better than Medea. I'm serious. It's gonna do better than Medea most of the time. So, trying to think if there's anything else that is like can bail out any weaknesses, but I cannot really, like, because most of is going to be golds, and you know there's no guarantee what you're going to get or what you like. So, the good thing is Jerker. Seriously, Jerker is like just such a universal. Just throw it at it, it'll do good enough. Also have MHX and I guess you mean regular like Joan of Arc. Oh, Calamity Jane. Oh, you're tough. You'll be totally fine then, because the Calamity Jane, there's your single target, and then some survivability in the right context, and even pierce vulnerability. So that'll be fine. That'll be totally fine. So it's still just caster then. So yep. Lots of Jerker. That's the answer to that. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up for today. I'm pretty pooped, and it's getting a bit late. I accidentally killed Samsung Dex here, and I'm out of AP. So. Yeah, I'm wiped, so probably no bonus stream today, which I'll try to get to that tomorrow. I do want to get some more Ninja Gaiden and Metroid Prime and all that. But thank you everybody for hanging out and sending in the account reviews. I swear I'll try to get to more of those. But I will see you all tomorrow, and peace.